125 class, sponsored by Louisville Motorcycle Performance. Louisville Motorcycle Performance Shop specializes in vintage restoration, race motor prep, vapor honing, and reclaiming vintage brakes. If you want to stop, come see them. Gemco is also a 40-year-old company specializing in custom handmade vintage racing exhaust. They can produce around 40 different models in both road racing, flat track, motocross, and off-road varieties. For the 125 class itself, F125 includes a variety of air-cooled, twin-shock, steel-framed Grand Prix race bikes, including models into the mid-70s. The class is primarily populated by 125 to 250cc two-stroke singles and twins, including production race bikes and converted street and enduro machines. You'll also see and hear a few Honda 175cc four-stroke twins. Single disc front brakes are allowed, and some machines will also be bumped up to the F250. For the Class C hand shift sponsored by Luke's Racecraft, and then the Class C foot shift sponsored by Candy and John Sneed. This class is for 1951 and earlier machines. Bikes are typically of those raced in early American Grand Prix national championship circuits. The 500cc singles and twins can have overhead cams or push rod engines. 750cc V-twins are side valve or flathead engines and use hand shift gearboxes. Battle of the smaller, lighter British bikes against the heavier, more powerful American iron like Indian or Harley-Davidson are what typically happened in the past. Foot shift and hand shift classes are on the track together but scored separately. And for the novice historic production lightweight, sponsored by Terrell's Custom Cabinets and Tim Terrell, Terrell's Custom Cabinets, owned by Tim Terrell, takes care of all of your cabinet needs. For the class itself, these are 1978 and earlier street machines in very close to standard production trim. Minimal modifications make this an inexpensive entry-level class, and it is intended for novice riders only. The lightweight class is for four strokes up to 500 cc's, 250cc two strokes, and certain 350cc two strokes. As the riders take to the field, here's how they're going to clear it up out there. On row number one for the 125, Formula 125 is going to be bike number 9, Grayson Rogers, 721 Bob Lewin, 19 Christopher Spargo, and 7F Mark Morrison. For row number 2, it's going to be 17G Randy Newt, 373 Neil Pooler, and 657 Lily O'Hara. Row number 3, it's going to be 951 W. Corey, 14K Ken Newt, 417 Michael Perry, and 357 Joe Corey. On row number 4, it's going to be bike number 76R Mark Perslow, 050 Zika Pires, and bike number 57 Kevin Brown. For the Class C foot shift presented by Candy and John Sneed, it's going to be 122 Alex McLean on row 6, along with 33Q David Tompkins, 24 Grant Spence, and 53S Scott Dell. And then back on row number 7, it's going to be 27 Dino Rhodey. For the Class C hand shifts presented by Luke's Racecraft, back on row number 9, it's going to be bike number 81 Ralph Wessel, 309 Tim Joyce, 244 Stephen Artez, and bike number 96X Joseph Miller. Then on row number 10, it's going to be 35 Doc Batselier, 73B Blake Wilson, and 17C Mike Baker. For the novice historic production lightweight presented by Terrell's Custom Cabinets, it's going to be 727 Beasley Ayers on row number 12, 7S Mitch Skaggs, G3 Corey Galla, and bike number 915 Craig Martin. On row number 13, it's 024 Matthew Rice, 332 Winston Spencer, and 431 Dwayne Kulo. Rounding out your field on row number 14, it's going to be 426 Clint Coulon, 76U Luke Sayer, and 59C Bill Gould. That is your field here for race number 1, the Formula 125 presented by Gemco, the Class C foot shift presented by John and Candy Sneed, Class C hand shift presented by Luke Racecraft, and novice historic production lightweight presented by Terrell's Custom Cabinets.
And with that, my friends, welcome to an exciting day 2 here at the Barber Vintage Festival. We are getting ready to broadcast all day long awesome racing with our friends at AHRMA. For more information about all of our race schedule, if you want to come and go racing with us, which you totally should, go check out our website, www.arma.org. Greetings to all of our different pages that are out there watching. We've got pages all over YouTube and Facebook, all sorts of people tuning in. So thank you for watching, clicking, liking, and sharing all these videos. You can always go back and watch yesterday's videos as well. We had 16. We had tons and tons and tons of road racing all day long. And then we also have some dirt racing and dirt racing highlights sprinkled in there as well. There's several different broadcasts. We kind of broke them up over the course of the day. So feel free to go back and check those out over at the AHRMA official Facebook page as well. And I believe we're streaming over on the AHRMA YouTube page. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is Jackie Van Ham, and my partner in crime up here, Mr. Jay McMacken, is going to be doing some of the announcing up here. The heavy lifting up here is Mr. J. I'm just over here pushing the computer buttons and trying to be amusing at times. But we're kicking off a huge day today, another 16 race program, woo! Which is why we're starting so early at 8:30 in the morning. So let's get back down to the grid. Speaking of our very first race of the day, Formula 125, Class C foot shift, Class C hand shift, and novice historic Prati lightweight.
Somebody's trying to bump the bike.
So there's a stalled bike down there, it appears, the number 17X machine.
Randy Newt. Do we need to turn that fan on so we can create too much noise?
No, definitely. I just clicked it off when it was
That's all right.
kind of going crazy this morning.
That's all right. Definitely help keep us a little cooler in here. Looks like the bikes are green again. Up on one bike, unfortunately, refusing to start this morning, so having to move them off the grid, but waiting for the boards to go up. And the start of this race is happening here in just a moment. Green flag waves, and 357 Joe Corey gets a rocket start from row number 3 here on the outside to lead the field down into turn number 1 for the Formula 125 class, sponsored by Gemco. Our first wave start of the day here. Looking back onto the start finish of the grid, rather, here comes your second wave from the Class C foot shift and the Class C hand shift as they thunder down that front straightaway themselves, working into turn number 1 here, the opening turn of the opening race here today.
You can't miss that sound, man. You can always tell those early hand shift and foot shift machines.
Third wave off for the novice historic production lightweights. It looks like they get a clean start out there. Looks like the 7S, Mitch Skaggs getting a jump on that field, while the Formula 125 bikes are already up to speed, separating themselves single file as they work down through turns number 6 and 7 up over the crest of the hill, down that back straightaway towards 8 and 9 over in the museum. Looks like Ken Newt's bike still refusing to fire this morning as he's trying desperately to get it to go, but now he's pulling it off the grid. Tough break as his race ends early before even starts. Meanwhile, race leaders was looks like it was bike number 357, Joe Corey, leading the field out of turn number 9 up the hill through turns number 10 and 11 here in the opening lap of race number 1. We'll get the official running order here for you when they come around to complete lap number 1 in just a moment.
Absolutely. So all of our racers today here in the road racing part of the AHRMA race weekend here at Barber Motorsports Park all have transponders on. So for more information, you can watch along at home over at race-monitor.com. I'll be grabbing that screenshot as well and throwing it up in the broadcast, so you can catch it here as well. But in case you want the full details, second by second.
Race leaders out onto the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. About a quarter of front straightaway lead for bike number 357, Joe Corey. He got the jump on everybody at the green flag. Then at 7:21, Bob Lewin, and 9:51, W. Corey rounding out your top 3 with 373. Neil Uller there in 4th, and 76R, Mark Perslow rounding out your top 5. Looks like bike number 14, Ken Knoop, is out there. So the bike that I saw earlier that didn't want to start, that was Randy Knoop's bike that didn't want to start. So Ken Knoop back out there on 14, and K, he's in that 6th place position. 7F, Mark Morrison in 7th. Bike number 9, Grayson Roberts back in 8th. 33Q, David Tompkins in 9th, and 122, Alex McLean rounding out the top 10. Looking up through the order here, looks like 33, David Tompkins leading for the Class C. I believe he's out there in the foot shift, and he's being chased down by 122, Alex McLean. He's running 2nd in the Class C foot shift, as Joe Corey still has a substantial lead out front. 7:21, Bob Lewin and W. Corey having a battle themselves for 2nd here as they start the 2nd lap of race number 1.
Everybody gingerly picking their way through that pretty infamous corner over there, Charlotte's Web. You can see it on your screen right now, that great big light yellow gravel trap over there. And if you look really carefully right above that gravel trap, you'll see a great big metal spider, which is why that's called Charlotte's Web, by the way, in case you're wondering why we call it that. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see it on your screen or not because we're pretty far away, but there's a couple of tracks already through there because she snagged a whole bunch of racers yesterday. She was real hungry, and she snagged a whole bunch of racers yesterday. Everybody was fine, though. That gravel is just really deep, and it just kind of slows everybody down. But this hairpin corner right there is no joke, and people just really, you've got to be real careful picking your way through there, and it is a very frequent place for people to blow that corner and override it a little bit.
Out front, 357, Joe Corey still holding the lead with 721. Bob Lewin back there at second and 351. W. Corey rounding out your top three. 373, Neil Pooler back there in fourth. And looks like 121, or 122 rather. Alex McLean for the Class C foot shift really gets rocking on that last lap. Moves himself up to the top 5 overall. He's leading for Class C foot shift. Then 76R, Mark Perslow back there in 6th. Then 33Q, David Tompkins. He's running 7th overall. He was battling with McLean for the Class C foot shift rather. He's now down in 2nd in class. Then you've got 14K Ken Knoop out there, 7F Mark Morrison. And then bike number 7S, Mitch Skaggs on the production novice historic production lightweight class. He started on that 3rd wave way back there. He's worked himself up to be a top 10 contender as he's leading for the novice historic production lightweight field.
And now's a good time. Let's go check out Race Monitor so you can watch along at home and see what is happening out here. So you can see this is the order that the transponders are crossing the line. It does not mean that this is all the same classes, and if you look, you can see that it designates which class. So the Formula 125, Joe Corey is in 1, but then if you jump down to the Class C foot shift class, it's Alex McLean is in 1.
We're going to have a pickup, right? No. Copy that, we'll roll. Back to back, so this one, that's good, so we can roll. Bike 357, Joe Corey still holding on the lead, but bike number 721, Bob Lewin definitely closing the gap, trying to mount a charge here as we should be coming up on halfway next time by. 122, Alex McLean works himself up a couple of more positions to 3rd overall. He's still leading for the Class C foot shift with bike number 33, 33Q, David Tompkins, right behind him there, holding on to that 2nd place position. And 951 is W. Corey. He's holding on to that top 3 of the Formula 125. They're moving on back through the field. Looks like 7S, Mitch Skaggs, still leading for the novice historic production lightweight, still rounding out your top 10. And as Lewin trying to figure out a way how to catch up with Corey and mount a challenge here as we're coming up on halfway next time by. Where's my leaders at?
And welcome everybody, welcome to all of our viewers tuning in, especially over on the AHRMA Facebook page. I've got it open right now. Dean Middleton, thanks for watching. Mark, John McCarty, thanks for tuning in. Vincent Halliday is watching. And Rick Gould, thanks for tuning in this morning, guys. Do take a second, hit that share button down on the lower left-hand side of your screen. If you're watching on a phone, share this page with your friends, or share this stream, I should say, with your friends. so they don't miss out on any of this awesome racing action. This is day 2 of a very action-packed program out here. Look at this battle going on. They are side by side. It was a drag race heading into that turn 5 down there. But day 2, very action-packed. Both days, 16 races each day, over 600 entries each day. Woo! Absolutely crazy.
As halfway flags come out on this one, let's go first call. First call for our next race. Race 2 rather. Race 2, Sound of Singles 3. Again, it is first call. First call for race number 2, Sound of Singles 3, sponsored by Rising Sun Cycles. You guys will be up here in just a moment. It's first call. First call for race number 2, Sound of Singles 3. Out on the racetrack, bike number 122, Alex McLean worked his way around the 125, so put the Class C foot shift bike of 122, Alex McLean, on the top of the leaderboard. He's still being chased down by 33Q David Tompkins. Second in class, second overall, then 357. Joe Corey still holding on to the lead for the Formula 125 with 721 Bob Lewin and 951 W. Corey rounding out the top 3 for the Formula 125s. Going on back through, well, looks like bike number 7S, Mitch Gage, still rounding out your top 9. He's still leading for the Novice Historic Production Lightweights. Again, we're at first call. First call for the Sound of Singles 3, presented by Rising Sun Cycles. You folks will be up here in just a moment. First call for race number 2. Yeah, typically on back-to-backs, or not with races that we don't have back-to-backs, I try and do first at halfway, second at white, third at checker. But now it looks like we've got some hiccups, so I'm going to have to drag. So when we got a drag, I usually do first at white, second at checker, and third when the thing rolls.
Did they pull off?
He's over there. He's right over there. We had one over there. We had one down over in 13. We had somebody off mechanical over in 16.
Well, it appears we've already got a couple of mechanicals this morning, which happens. It is vintage, and actually this is an antique class as well, so it's not too terribly surprising to have some folks have to pull off, but we're going to have to go gather them up after this race, so there's going to be a tiny little bit of a delay, but no big deal. No incidents though, just bikes breaking down. Things happen. So we're going to have to go gather them up.
And speaking of, there's one down 8. He's getting up slowly. Slides on 2. Oh, that's over 2.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like 2.
That's 2.
So we do have there's a safety camera here that the track watches all of the corners for any sort of incidents. Unfortunately, I can't show you that footage for liability reasons, but we can watch it up here so we can see when people have little pullovers and things like that. It looks like somebody slid out a little bit over in turn 2, which is a super, super tight, like decreasing radius. It's like a never-ending right-hand turn.
It's basically 2 turns together. It's 2
Yeah.
out of 3.
Yeah. But they're fine. They're pushing their bike out of the way. So it's just on the other side of this left-hander you see right now. That's the beginning of it. It's kind of a great big huge like circle. So this will be turn 1 that I'm showing right now at the left-hand side of your screen, and it goes into that 2 that is like the never-ending right-hand turn.
Out front, bike number 122, Alex McLean, still leading over 33Q David Tompkins. That's Class C foot shift 1 and 2. 357 Joe Corey still leading for the 125s over 721 Bob Lewin. And it looks like it's bike number 76R, Mark Perslow, moved up into that third place position for Formula 125 as 951 W. Corey drops back a position. Still running out your top 4 for Formula 125. And it's bike number 7S, Mitch Gaggs, still leading for the Novice Historic Production Lightweight. He's worked his way up to 8th overall as white flag should be coming out this next time by.
It looks like it's going to be another absolutely spectacular day out here. Just gorgeous weather this weekend. It literally could not be any nicer. Absolutely beautiful. Thanks for tuning in if you are home, if you couldn't make it, but man, you got to put this on your list next year. This is a must-do event. There's road racing, there is dirt racing, there is an awesome swap meet, there's bands, there's food. The museum is its own category of awesomeness.
Yeah, you definitely got to stay in at least budget 2 to 3 hours to see everything in that museum.
I think the smart play, honestly, is coming on Wednesday and or staying on Monday.
Yeah.
And doing the museum on its own day because it's just massive. It's just super, super cool.
White flag out for your race leader, 122, Alex McLean, as he starts his final lap here, still being chased down by 33Q, David Tompkins. Looks like Tompkins is still several bike lengths adrift. Not sure if he's going to be able to reel him in to mount a challenge. Then it's going to be 357. Joe Corey leading for the Formula 125, then 721, Bob Lewin, and he's holding on to that second place position for Formula 125 as he starts his final circuit here of the track. Then it's going to be 76R, Mark Perslow rounding out the top three for the Formula 125 as he sees the white flag, letting him know he's got one more lap to before he can taste victory.
I love the sound of those really early bikes.
They do have a nice tone to them, don't they?
They do. They just sound amazing. And the white flag is out, but it looks like our flagman might have the checkers in his other hand. Are we keeping an eye out for Alex McLean?
Just waiting for the leader to come around here in a minute. It should be due.
Should be due, right?
Yeah, it's 122 Alex McLean.
Go ahead and switch on over to the flagger cam because there is the checkers.
Checker flag out for your unofficial race winner, bike number 122, Alex McLean, being chased down by 33Q, David Tompkins. That's first and second for Class C foot shift. Well, let's go second call. Attention to the paddock, second call. Race number 2, Sound of Singles 3, presented by Rising Sun Cycles. You guys will be up here in just a moment. It's second call. Second call for race number 2, Sound of Singles 3. You folks will be up here in just a moment. Second call. Second call. Race number 2, Sound of Singles 3. Second call.
So let's go ahead and take a gander at the
Going
map
on down
of this
through the grids.
beautiful
Looks like
place.
357. Joe Corey took the unofficial win for the 125, but being chased down by 721. Bob Lewin taking the unofficial second, looking to see if it's going to be 76R. Mark Perslow, it is. He takes the unofficial third out there for the Formula 125 group. Then it looks like next up it should be 7S. Mitch Skaggs. He'll take the unofficial win for the Novice Historic Production Lightweight class. Going on down through the grids, it looks like it's going to be bike number 727, Beasley Ayers, taking the unofficial second for the Novice Historic Production Lightweight.
Sorry about that, gang. I jumped the gun a little bit. But I just wanted to go ahead and click the map on so you could take a look for the folks at home and see what we're talking about here and get a little bit better idea of where we're at. This is the 16th Annual Barber Vintage Festival powered by BMW Motorrad. This goes on, obviously, this entire weekend. It is technically 3 days, but some folks get here a little early, and some folks stay a little bit later, like on the Monday. It's not uncommon for people to stay and go to the museum on Monday, so it just gets bigger and bigger and rowdier. The swap meet is absolutely off the chain. I have not had the chance to go yet. I am super upset with myself.
My wife won't let me go.
But I'm also trying to not go.
She told me you're not going. She knows I'll come dragging something home.
Yeah, no. I'm in super duper in trouble because we brought our great big van here, and so I can put all sorts of crusty old stuff in there.
Well, we were coming in this morning. There were like 3 bikes, older 70s Japanese Smith-style cruisers over there, and it said free. And she looked at me and she's like, no. And I'm like, I don't even have a trailer to drag them on. Besides, I don't want them anyway. But there's honestly people giving away motorcycles.
Jay, it's free.
It's free, exactly. So yeah, it gives you an idea of all the stuff that's available here.
So there is a little bit of everything here at this swap, but I do find the swap meet to generally speaking, now there's always exceptions, generally speaking, be a little bit more European-centric, which is why I like coming. I've got a couple of BMWs in my shed and some Hondas. I mean, I got a little bit of everything. So I love the swap meet here. It's absolutely wonderful. But again, road racing, dirt racing, there is this awesome, awesome killer swap that is dying to take all of my money. There's great food and drink, all sorts of good stuff going on. So let's check out that map. And your...
So we got a quick pickup, right?
Let's get ready out here.
Copy that. Just let me know when I need to go third.
Let's do that. Let's switch them around. There we go. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch these graphics around. What's next? Sound of Singles 3. So race number 2 is going to be the Sound of Singles 3, which is the smallest of the singles class.
37 riders in the field, though.
But a huge class, right? I said that wrong. It's not the
grid.
smallest.
Big
the
grid.
grid is huge. It is the smallest displacement of the singles classes. But the grid is crazy town. 37 racers on this grid. So this is going to be a real good time. Let me go ahead and find the graphics for it. There we go. Alrighty. Sound of Singles 3.
Attention out in the paddock. Let's go third call. Third and final call for race number 2. Sound of Singles 3 presented by Rising Sun Cycles. If you guys want to bring them on down, the track is now yours. Again, it's third call. Third and final call for race number 2. Sound of Singles 3 presented by Rising Sun Cycles. You guys are up right now. Bring them on down. We'll send you out for your hot lap in the start of your race. Again, it's third call. Third and final call. Sound of Singles 3. Bring them on down. The track is now yours. The Sound of Singles 3 sponsored by Rising Sun Cycles. They're an importer of new and used Yamaha and Honda Grand Prix road race motorcycles and replacement parts and accessories. They've been in business since 1977. Offering the best service available, the best parts and accessories, and a staff that understands all aspects of their business. Racers parts delivered on racers or delivered in racers time. On the web at rscycles.com. The class itself is open to small bore production singles such as the new KTM 390
I just gave myself a heart
RC
attack.
and Duke, plus purpose-built machines with Grand Prix chassis. GP-style bikes can use any one of a variety of air or water-cooled 2 or 4-stroke engines. Liquid-cooled 2-strokes and 4-strokes can displace up to 250 cc's. Air-cooled 2-strokes can displace up to 300 cc's. And air-cooled 4-strokes up to 350 cc's. That's the class limitation here for Sound of Singles 3. As the riders get ready to take to the track for their warm-up lap, here's how they're going to grid up. On row number 1, 251 Stuart Atkincaid, 80L Ralph Starpoli, 55C Edward Blount, and 3Z Dave Frick. On row number 2, it's bike number 049F Danny Habermail, 56 Stephen Gillen, and 99X Jonathan Schendel. Row number 3, it's going to be 112 Adrian Jasso, 820 Mitchell Barnes, 404 Jeff Hennis, and 641 Craig Yurko. Row number 4, it's 87 Eric Watts, 074 Eric Luckhart, and 690 Bob Berbecco. Row number 5, it's going to be 510 Noel Corwin, 41B Jacob Trosper, 220 Tim Terrell, and 456 Lloyd Peterson. Row number 6, it's 917 Lorraine Crussell, 781 Paul Nelson, and 127B Jacob Carter. Row number 7, it's 186 Richard Demetrius, 681V Andrew Kruger, 796 Paul Vance, and 242 Michael DeRoche. Row number 8 is 925 Kerry Kress, 297 Mark White, 923 Colleen Ermson. Row number 9 is 97L Dave Rhodes, 994 Turner Coltich, 066 Leisha Overturf, and 137 William Doyne. Row number 10, it's 141 Larry Watts, 602 Christopher Mock, and 13K Rod Skaggs. And rounding out your field on row number 11, it's 329 Matthew Crabtree, and 9K Candy Sneed. That is your field here for race number 2, the Sound of Single Street, presented by Rising Sun Cycles. Oh, thank you. Is this new race 14? Thanks here. Drowning in paperwork over here.
Let's see where everybody's at. I just about gave myself a heart attack out of here, Jay. I actually turned my cameras off.
Ooh, that's
I
not
know. No, I was sitting here like touching all the buttons, getting ready to have a full-blown panic attack. And all I did was I muted it on my computer.
good. Well, crisis averted then, right? Crisis averted.
Crisis definitely averted. Thank goodness.
All right, we got a back-to-back on this one, so I'm going to have to drag.
Oh, if you've got a really long one, let me know because I'll put that that video you did, that interview you did last night.
Oh, okay, yeah. With Mary McGee?
Yeah, remind me, or not remind me, but I'll remind myself. Like if we get a red flag or something.
Crimson flag.
Yes.
Never said the R word.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Yes.
Or if there's just a long-
liquid sunshine or precipitation.
Oh, I never say the RAIN word.
Crimson
I
adventure.
never, I never say the RAIN word.
There's a lot of R words you don't want to say at the racetrack.
That I never do.
Although nobody talks about rev limiter anymore. Alright, who's it gonna be here, boys and girls? Those two boys out there, where's Adrian now? Mr. Jasso, come on up, buddy. There he is, okay.
Alrighty, so this is that great big huge Sound of Singles grid. 37 racers, you said? And this
Yeah.
is the smaller displacement but single cylinder race category.
Yep.
Liquid cooled 2 or 4 strokes can displace up to 250 cc's. Air cooled 2 strokes to 300 cc's and air cooled 4 strokes to 350 cc's. This is also open to some newer machines, including the KTM 390RC and the Duke, which is super cool. So we're trying to include a little bit more modern machines in with our vintage racing, so it's not just always old stuff. And clearly there's a huge demand for it with 37 racers here.
As the green flag waves, looks like 3Z David Frick in the jump, and there comes 112 and Jasso from that third row. He was third in line behind Frick and Ralph Starpoli as they work their way down through turn number 1 over to turn number 2 and 3 here. And an exciting start here for race number 2, the Sound of Singles 3. Waiting for everybody to figure out who's going to lead and who's going to follow as some mid-pack passing going on. As there they come up over the crest of the hill, it looks like out front it is Ralph Starpoli, Adrian Jasso right there. Then I believe it's 99X, Jonathan Schendel, and then 3Z David Frick as that field rolls through Charlotte's Web of turn 6 and 7 up over the crest of the hill. Looks like Starpoli's wasted no time trying to stretch out his lead. Jasso trying to pick up the draft, but several bike links adrift with bike number 99, Jonathan Schendel there in third as that group leads the rest of the field down that little backstretch, dropping over to turn number 8, 9, and 10 in the museum right now. We'll get the confirmation of the top 10 when they come around to complete lap number 1 in just a moment.
Yeah, Ralph Starpoli having a heck of a day out here yesterday. Very, very fast.
Yeah, he and Adrian Jasso, you've had great battles all this year.
Alrighty, and they're already making their way down to 15, 16, and 17, so they're going to be coming back on this front straight here in just a few moments. Keep an eye on that camera for you.
Looks like we've got a battle shaping up for that third place podium position as the leaders work their way over through turns 15 and 16, waiting for them to come onto the front straightaway here in just a moment as here they come down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1. It is going to be bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli. Second is going to be 112, Adrian Jasso. Third place, 251, Stuart Atkincade. Was my mystery rider out there with 99X, Jonathan Schendel, and then 41B, Jacob Trosper, rounding out your top 5. Trosper not only racing two wheels this weekend, he also races a sidecar rig, and that'll be coming up later on this afternoon. Back in that 6th position is 56, Stephen Gillen. 7th is 404, Jeff Hennis. 8th is bike number 55C, Edward Blount. 87, Eric Watts is back in 9th, and 796, Paul Bass rounds out your top 10 as bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, not wasting any time on the second race here early this morning, putting his head down and setting an absolutely blistering pace. He's got about a half a front straightaway lead over second place rider 112, Adrian Jasso. So evidently Ralph Starpoli ate his Wheaties this morning, and he is out there flying. Bike number 251 is Stuart Atkincade's got his hands filled trying to stay on that third step of the podium with bike number 99X, Jonathan Schendel, right there behind him as those guys are duking it out for the last step on the podium as race leader Ralph Starpoli on bike number 80L all the way up the crest of the hill over through turns 12, 13, and 14 with Jasso, Atkincade, and Schendel in tow.
Here we go.
Race leader, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, one more time onto the front straightaway. He does. He's got a full front straightaway lead over 112, Adrian Jasso. Then it's going to be bike number 99X, Jonathan Schendel. He's gotten around Stuart Atkincade as he set his sights trying to step up onto that second step of the podium with bike number 41B, Jacob Trosper, right back there in that top 5. And it looks like we've had our first Crimson adventure here this morning as they got some action going on over the turns 12 and 13 area.
Stand by for a moment. I'll let you know where to send them to you.
Unfortunately, it looks
Well,
like there were
with-
multiple bikes on that one.
With that, we're going to have to probably regrid everybody. We're not 100%. We're waiting on race control for more
Yeah.
information, but it looks like a couple bikes got a little tangled up
Yeah.
over by the museum.
Well, it's actually over by 12. It's back over here.
Oh, sorry, on the far side of the track.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right, because I can see this timing tower. In case you're wondering what we're looking at, we have security cameras up here. The track, this facility is absolutely stunning. It is just state of the art, and they have really, really incredible amenities here for racing. All of our team is super comfortable. They treat us wonderful, and they've got security cameras at every single corner, so we can see what's happening everywhere. But unfortunately, I can't stream that footage. The Barber folks are telling me that it's a bit of a liability issue, so I can't show you it. But I can tell you what's going on, and that is that it looks like there's a couple little tangled up bikes on the very far side of the track. So we are going to scoop those people up and get those bikes, and then hopefully everybody is okay. We're making sure everybody is getting off track right now safely. have just a hot second, let's go on ahead because it looks like we're going to take just a moment and get this all sorted out. Hopefully everybody is okay, but we're going to be standing down here for just a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a really great video from yesterday that I showed because we are celebrating a very special class of racing here. We had our Premier Cup races yesterday at lunchtime, and we have them again today that are going to be happening right at noon, if I remember correctly. An epic battle in this great class that is sponsored by our friend Kenny Cummings at NYC Norton. So we showed a really great video that was shot kind of talking to him and his love of the Norton motorcycle, vintage bikes and craft and all that kind of neat stuff. So let's go on ahead and go check that video out. And that is our friend Kenny Cummings, who is the title sponsor of his company, NYC Norton, which builds custom Nortons, race-specific Nortons, just beautiful restoration and custom builds. So it is the featured race for the 2021 season. It is the 500 Premier Vintage Cup. So they are celebrating that class, that 500 Premier class this season. Every year, AHRMA chooses one particular race class to kind of focus on and celebrate. And this year, it was the 500 Premier. So this is 1968 and earlier 500cc four-stroke overhead valve and overhead cam or 750cc side valve machines. Many consider this to be the golden era of road racing when riders like Jeff Duke, John Surtees, Mike Halewood, Giacomo Agostini ruled the world championships. Legendary bikes such as the Matchless G50, Manx Norton, Harley-Davidson KR, and Honda CR450 years of development and tuning have these bikes making more power and handling better than others. This is the Premier Vintage Cup that's been featured this year. They had a great battle yesterday. Tim Joyce won, securing the championship, if I believe correctly, securing the championship.
That's what they were saying. I still don't have confirmation. That's what it would have.
It was really close. It was super hot and heavy, and it was very close. So I believe he won, however, but they do have another race today. They've got a race going on right around noon. So anyway, it sounds like we might have some bikes going back out on the track. So let's go back trackside.
Attention out there in the paddock, we are restarting here the race number 2, Sound of Singles 3, after we've got that incident cleared up out there. So it'll be the original grid positions coming up. 251 Stuart Kincaid on row number 1, along with bike number 80L Ralph Starpoli, 55C Edward Blond, and 3C David Frick on row number 2. It's going to be 56 Stephen Gillen and 99X Jonathan Schendel. Row number 3 is going to be 112 Adrian Jasso, 820 Mitchell Barnes, and 404 Jeff Hennis, along with 641 Craig Herco. Row number 4, it's 87 Eric Watts, 074 Eric Luckhart, and bike number 690 Bob Rebecco. Row number 5, it's going to be 510 Noel Corwin, 41B Jacob Trosper, 220 Tim Terrell, and 456 Chloe Peterson. Row number 6, it's going to be 917 Lorraine Crussell, 781 Paul Nelson, and 127B Jacob Carter. Row number 7, it's going to be 186 Richard Demetrius, 681B Andrew Kruger, 796 Paul Vance, and 242 Michael DeRoche. Row number 8, it's 925 Kerry Kress, 297 Mark White, and 923 Colleen Ermson. Row number 9, it's 97L David Rhodes, 994 Turner Coltich, 066 Leisha Overturf, and 137 William Doyne. Row number 10 is 141 Larry Watts, 602 Christopher Mock, and 13K Rod Skaggs. Rounding out your field, back on row number 11 is 329 Matthew Crabtree and 91K Candy Sneed. That's your field here for the Sound of Singles 3 race presented by Rising Sun Cycles.
Alrighty, so they're going to restart. How many laps did we get in on that one?
I think we got one. I'm trying to listen to the radio and tell how many. I don't think it's going to be a full restart, but it might. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out how many laps they're going to do.
Gotcha. And this was originally an 8-lapper?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. It's almost time to get these prescription sunglasses out. Super bright here in the booth. Woo!
That's why we're at.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's why I brought my little sunshade. Alright, and everyone's starting to make their way back to the grid, so let's go back to my flagger cam and get a good look at everybody. Hey, John Evers and Julie Fagan, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you go ahead, hit that share button at the bottom left of your screen if you're watching on your phone, and share this feed with your friends so they don't miss out on any of this awesome racing action here with AHRMA at the 16th Annual Barber Vintage Festival, powered by BMW Motorrad.
Starter has the 2 board up, now the 1, and the green flag waves once again. It looks like Adrian Chassa once again gets a great jump out there on the field as he's trying to hold on to that second place. Not sure if he was quite able to do it, as everybody once again down in through turn number 1, trying to figure out who's going to lead and follow. One bike a little slow off the starting grid out there as they get that bike pushed out of the way here, with the field working their way out of turns number 3 up over the crest of the hill and 4 down into 5 into 6 into Charlotte's Web one more time up front. It is Star Polly. Looks like Jasso can't tell if that's Schindel or Kincaid back there in that 3rd place position, as whoever it was runs just a skosh wide. I think that's Schindel back there. Looks like Kincaid rounding out your top 5 as the field's starting to spread out now, single file out of turn number 7 up over the crest of the hill and down that back straightaway one more time here over by the museum turns.
And it still looks like it was Star Polly who was in our lead.
Yeah.
Star Polly in the lead. He is just now making his way down towards 15, 16, and 17, which is the final turn before front straight, so I'll keep an eye out for him.
Looks like somebody went just a bit wide over on a turn number 13. We'll try and see how the running order is going to show up here in just a moment as the riders work their way out of the turn 17 onto the front straightaway. It is going to be bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli. 2nd place is going to belong to bike number 99X, Jonathan Schindel. He and Adrian Jasso were having a heck of a battle that last lap. Now they're running 2nd and 3rd overall. 251 Stuart Kincaid back there in fourth, and 41B, Jacob Trosper still rounding out your top five. 55C, Edward Blunt is up in that sixth place position with 56, Stephen Gillen back in seventh, 87, Eric Watts in eighth, 297, Mark White in ninth, and 796, Paul Vance rounds out your top 10 as bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, once again setting a blistering pace. 99X, Jonathan Schendel trying to reel him back in with bike number 112, Adrian Jasso. Looks like Schendel gets just a little wide over out of turn number 6 into 7. That opened the door for Adrian Jasso on 112 trying to work a draft pass. They're pretty much side by side down into turn number 8. It looks like Jasso just nipping Schendel for the lead as they drop out of sight over through turns number 8 and 9 over by the museum. We'll wait for them to come back up the hill over here where we can pick up their side out of turn 11 and 12 and see if Schendel was able to repass Jasso as there goes Starpoli back up the hill towards turn number 12 and 13. It was Jasso having the lead, but here comes Schendel working a draft pass as these guys are going at it like it's a final lap, and it's only the second or third lap of this race as they rocket up over the crest of the hill over 13, over into 14 one more time. Meanwhile, 251, Stuart Atkincade back there in fourth. He's getting a heck of a view of that battle between Jasso and Schendel for that second step on the podium. While bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, continues to lead out of the turn number 17 onto the front straightaway.
Look at this battle between 2 and 3 guys.
Again, over this second place battle.
Oh, now 3 and 4.
Now it looks like Atkincade has managed to reel in Jasso, so I guess Adrian Jasso got a little bit out of shape out there. That allowed bike number 251, Stuart Atkincade, to reel him in and step up onto that third step of the podium with Adrian Jasso back there in fourth, and 41B, Jacob Trosper still rounding out your top 5. Meanwhile, Ralph Starpoli over the crest of the hill down to turn number 6, Charlotte's Web over there as he's coming up on halfway. I think he's going to come up on halfway here this next time by. And then bike number 99, Jonathan Schendel back there holding on to second in a hard charging 251. Stuart Atkincade trying to reel him in. He stepped up onto the podium on that last lap. He has 112, Adrian Jasso
Let's
back
check
there
in with
tow.
Race Monitor.
So Atkincade looking to step up a position on the podium. Jasso looking to put himself back on the podium as bike number 41B, Jacob Trosper, again, are still rounding out your top 5 as race leader bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, comfortable in the lead. Out of turn number 10 over into 11 now, one more time up into 12 and 13.
Adrian Jasso moving quite a bit down in position 4 right now, but they're just going back and forth and cat and mousing up there because they've swapped positions 3 or 4 times already. It's a super, super tight race other than Starpoli. Starpoli's got a pretty cozy lead up there, but 2, 3, and 4, there's a really good epic battle going on. And then further down pack, Jay, tons of little mini battles within this race.
Oh, yeah.
You know, way further down pack. Let's not forget there's 37 racers out there, so there's a whole bunch of, you know, races and battles going on in the teens as well.
Yeah. Ralph Starpoli seeing the green and white flags, let him know he's got 4 done and 4 left to go as he starts the second half of his race. Then it's going to be 99X, Jonathan Schendel, and 251, Stuart Atkincade. Those two are duking it out for that second step on the podium as Starpoli all the way down in the braking zone into Charlotte's Web. Meanwhile, Atkincade just about 3 or 4 bike lengths adrift of Schendel, closing in on the brakes over into turn number 6 with bike number 112, Adrian Jasso right there. He's having a battle shape up himself with 41B, Eric Trosper, or Jacob Trosper rather, as Jacob Trosper tried to get around him on the inside around Jasso, but didn't quite have enough room. Thinks the better of it, drops back in line. Meanwhile, Stuart Atkincade was able to pick up the draft on Jonathan Schendel, and those two were pretty much nose to tail down that back stretch of between turns 7 and 8 as they worked their way through turn 9 over by the museum here on the second half of their race. Race leader bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, all the way up over the crest of the hill back into another hilly section back between turns 13 and 14. Meanwhile, Stuart Atkincade trying to figure out and study the lines of Jonathan Schendel to try and figure out where he might make that pass here and trying to figure out when the race is going to be that time as they're into the second half of the race with bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli still up there in the lead. Meanwhile, 41B, Jacob Trosper still trying to work his way around Adrian Jasso as Starpoli starts the next lap. He's got a full front straightaway lead over the battle here for second as Jonathan Schendel still leads 251. Stuart Atkincade And 41B, Jacob Trosper was right next to Adrian Jasso. Jasso led that lap by about a half a wheel, but Jacob Trosper on 41B managed to outbreak him and work his way up into that fourth place position. So 112 Adrian Jasso slipping back to round out your top five as Ralph Starpoli comfortably in the lead. Meanwhile, Stuart Atkincade continues to stalk Jonathan Schendel on bike number 99X as that duo works their way out of turn number 6 up the crest of hill and turn number 7. Atkincade within striking distance, about a half a bike length now, right on the rear tail section of Schendel as they are nose to tail. Atkincade trying to work the draft, not sure. I think he might have worked his way around the inside as they disappeared over into turn number 8 and down into turn number 9. We'll see how they look when they come back up the hill. Meanwhile, 41B, Jacob Trosper still holding on to fourth with bike number 112, Adrian Jasso right there behind them. So those guys got a battle going on for fourth, while Schendel and Atkincade still duke it out for that second step of the podium, as I believe it's Schendel still out front now. I couldn't quite tell because they have both very similar colored bikes on the far side of the track as they disappear out of sight up through turns number 13, 14, and over into 15.
White flag out for current race leader.
White flag out for your race leader, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli is 251. Stuart Atkincade led that one, but it looks like Schendel right there trying to work his way back up onto the step of the podium. Let's go. First call. First call for race number 3, Formula 250. 250 Grand Prix, Novice Historic Production Heavyweight in pre-1940. First call for race number 3. First call, race number 3.
That is your
Ralph
race
Starpoli
leader.
out front with a little bit of breathing room. Bike number 251, Stuart Atkincade was holding on to that third place position. Schendel right there trying to work a draft pass as they're up out of turn number 7 on down the back stretch they go. We'll see if Schendel's going to be able to pull that same reverse draft pass that Atkincade pulled on him in that last lap. Doesn't look like it's going to happen as 251, Stuart Atkincade leads 99X. Jonathan Schendel down into the museum turn number 9 here on the final lap. Meanwhile, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, has set sail on the rest of the field as he works his way out of turn number 11 over through turns 12 and 13 here on his final lap, waiting for the battle. Here it is. It's going to be Atkincade still leading Schendel by about 4 bike lengths that last lap as Schendel's trying to pick up the draft once again as that duo dips down over through turn number 12 over into 13. Schendel closes in within about 3 bike lengths of Atkincade as they work their way over through turns 14 and 15. Meanwhile, Ralph Starpoli comfortably in the lead, waiting for him to come back around onto turn number 17. Here he comes, checkered flag in hand for your unofficial race winner, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli. Looking back up here as a battle for second. At the line, it is going to be bike number 99X, Jonathan, or actually 251, Stuart Atkincade, just getting 99X, Jonathan Schendel for the top 3 with 41B, Jacob Trosper in 4th, and 112, Adrian Jasso rounding out your top 5 in an exciting conclusion of race number 2. Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. Let's go second call. Second call, race number 3, Formula 250, 250 Grand Prix, Novice Historic Production Heavyweight, and pre-1940.
And your official, unofficial results for race number 2, Sound of Singles 3.
Race number 3, Formula 250, 250 Grand Prix, Novice Historic Production Heavyweight, and pre-1940. Second call for race number 3.
Well, very exciting racing. Starpoli making it look totally smooth sailing, making it look very easy out there, but that cat and mouse epic battle between 2, 3, and 4 was pretty exciting.
I think it's 820 being back-to-back in this one. I'm not sure if the guys down there can tell us.
All right, so there are your official results. And now let's go back to the cams and change these graphics out. And again, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody, out on all of our different social media pages. We've got folks all over the place watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to learn how you can join some of this awesome fun, make sure you check out the AHRMA.org website. You want to come racing with us? We want you to come racing with us. And don't think it's just all antique and vintage bikes. You know, we race some modern stuff too, as you just saw here in this race number 2, Sound of Singles 3. There was some more modern KTMs and things in that class too. So we do a little bit of everything out here. So if you want to join us, head over to AHRMA.org for more information. Alrighty, Formula
I did, thank
250.
you.
250 Grand Prix is next. Who else? Novice Heavyweight.
Then I'll be back-to-backs and 3 to 4 stud school like the one that one.
And pre
4
1940.
to 5's a back-to-back, 5 to 6 back-to-back, 6 to 7.
So if you hear Mr. J next to me talking about back-to-backs, what he's referring to is our racers that are racing in multiple classes, which is not uncommon, right? Lots of people come from all over the
Yeah.
place to come here. It is a spectacular weekend. Everybody wants to race. It's also the last race of the season, so this is it.
It is. This is
So
it. This is for all the marbles. And I
this is-
apologize for talking to myself. I'm just sitting here trying to
No
get
worries.
myself figured out where I'm going with these racings and which races I have to make sure I got back-to-back so I don't rush anybody.
No worries. So I just wanted to let the folks know that what he's talking about, what he's referring to, is the folks that have what we call back-to-back races, which is pretty self-explanatory. But we've tried to create a little bit of a window so that those folks who are racing multiple classes, who might be doing a back-to-back race, have time to either go switch bikes or put gas in the bike that they're in if they're racing it in the next class. Or whatever they need to do. Sometimes they literally just need like a minute and a half to 2 minutes to go get that sorted out. So we try to just take a little pause, let them get sorted out, and then once we see everybody start to get gridded back up, we start moving again. So, we want to make sure everybody gets their money's worth. To be honest with you, people pay good money to be here and come racing with us. We want to make sure everybody has a chance to make their grids and go race and go chase those points and go bang bars with their buddies. So that is what's going on with that. And let's get back down to the track and go see what's going on. So it's the 250 Grand Prix, Formula 250, Novice Historic, Production Lightweight, Production Heavyweight, Parati Heavy, and then Pre 1940. Jay, do you want me to read these grid descriptions?
I'll get them. Thank you. Attention out in the paddock. Let's go third and final call for race number 3, Formula 250 Grand Prix. Novice Historic Production Heavyweight and Pre-1940. You folks are up right now. Again, it's third and final call for race number 3, Formula 250 Grand Prix, sponsored by Candy and John Sneed. The Novice Historic Production Heavyweight is sponsored by XL Storage, and Pre-1940 presented by Norton Manx. You guys are up right now. Again, it's third and final call for race number 3. For the 250 class, sponsored by Southpaw Racing Services. Southpaw Racing Services team members include Carl Anderson, who's the Chief Tech Consultant, Colton Roberts, which is porting and engine modifications, and Brian Bradford from Fabrication and Exhaust. They supplying engines and tuning to help riders win races, including recent Formula 125 champion Louis LeBlanc and Colton Roberts. Our specialty is, their specialty is Yamaha Vintage 2-strokes. The class itself is primarily for 1972 and earlier air-cooled 2-strokes, including singles up to 360 cc's and twins up to 250 cc's. 4-stroke singles and Honda 350/400 twins and 4-cylinder 4-strokes are also allowed. Single disc front brakes are allowed. In addition to the Honda, machines typically competing are Japanese and European 2-strokes, and even including the Canadian marquee Can-Am. For the 250 Grand Prix, sponsored by Candy and John Sneed, this class is for 1968 and earlier machines, including 250 4-strokes, 250cc air-cooled 2-stroke singles, 175 liquid-cooled 2-stroke singles, and 175 air-cooled 2-stroke twins. It includes purpose-built race bikes and converted production road and off-road bikes. The Novice Historic Production Heavyweight field, sponsored by XL Storage and Herb High. XL Storage is in St. Petersburg, Florida, and is not only an extra home for your 2 or even 4-wheel toys, it's a great community to hang out in. Ride on down and say hi to Herb, 75H, Pam, and Miss Gracie. The class itself is open to production street machines built onto the 1978 model year, as determined by the frame and major components, parts, and line design. Machines must use original, unmodified OEM frames, swing arm supports, and handlebar mounts. 1978 and earlier street machines and very close to standard production trim is what's required. Minimal modifications make this an inexpensive entry-level class, and it is intended for novice-level riders. The heavyweight class is for 4-strokes up to 750 cc's and 350 to 500 cc 2-strokes. And the last class, the Pre-1940 Grand Prix, sponsored by Norton Manx Racing and Rob McKeever. Bob McKeever, also known as Champagne Bob, raced at Daytona in 1948 and was heavily involved in vintage racing for many years. Sadly, he passed away in January of 2017 at the age of 97. Bob founded Champagne Bob Racing, which evolved into Norton Manx Racing and carries on Bob's passion. Bob's son, Rob McKeever, is the team manager and continues the race program. The Norton Manx Racing racers are Alex McLean and his wife Cindy. This class is intended for pre-1940 and earlier GP and unmodified street machines up to and including 500cc overhead valve and overhead cam engines or 750cc side valve machines. Like design models are also permitted. All major components must be OEM parts that existed prior to 1941 or are accurate, detailed replicas of the same parts using the same types of materials and technology. So looking at the grids and how they're going to grid up for this race, for the Formula 250, on row number 1, it's 1D, Steve DeCamp, 9, Colton Roberts, C27, Mark Brown, and 600, Bob Demetrius. Row number 2, it's 301, Mark Hodel, 789, Charles Young, and M49, Thomas Hillard. Row number 3, it's 715, David Hurst, 709, Joe Ackley, 820, Mitchell Barnes, and 304, Kevin Dinsmore. For the 250 Grand Prix field, presented by Candy and John Sneed, on row number 5, it's bike number 1B, David Roper, 294, John Scales, 903, Robert Brangatio, and 27X, Ross Tuffy. Row number 6, it's 950, Don Hollingsworth, 127, Robin Scudder, and 79R, Craig Light. Row number 7, it's 523, John Kern, 533, Hirusho Murata. Bike number 6, Bill Dorn, and 19, Christopher Spargo. For the Novice Historic Production Heavyweight, presented by XL Storage, back on row number 9, it's 75H Herb High, 7S Mitch Skaggs, 777 William Dokianos, and 15G Sean Gilmore. Back on row number 10, it's G66 Mark Smithard, and 431 Dwayne Kulo. For the pre-1940 race, sponsored by Norton Manx, back on row number 12, it's 122 Alex McLean, 81 Ralph Wessel, 96X Joseph Miller, 35 Doc Batsleer, and then rounding out your field on row number 13, it's bike number 27 Vino Rodi. That is your field here for race number 3. Looks like they're all gridded up out there.
Folks still wiggling around, figuring out where they're going.
Where am I supposed to grid?
Where am I going?
I forgot my grid position.
Which way you going? Which direction? Well, yesterday we had the reverse lap. We did a lap of honor for one of our AHRMA family members, and that was it was super neat to see, everybody turning out and paying tribute, but also it was in reverse, so it was really like a little bit. It kind of threw me off for a minute when I glanced up.
Yeah, it's. You almost never ever want to see anybody going reverse direction on a race.
Yeah. I mean, generally, yeah.
Well, they got one that doesn't want to start. They hold it here, so.
Oh, so somebody's having trouble starting, I guess?
Yeah, he got a bike, it's not wanting to start. Had to push him off.
Because the grids are so huge here, because we have over 600 entries. If your bike does not start on the grid, we give you like just 60 seconds to try to get it to go, but if it doesn't, we have to push you off the track.
As the green flag waves, looks like 600. Bob Demetrius and bike number 9, Colton Roberts, both get about an equal start as Demetrius sweeps around the outside. Colton Roberts checked up just a little bit, ends up third through turn number 1. But remember, you can't win the race on turn number 1. It's only when the checkered flag waves. Then the second wave looks like they're cleanly away off the starting grid out here as they thunder down the front straightaway towards turn number 1. Waiting for that third wave to get going here. That's the pre-1940 class way back. And then back of the pack is the Formula 250 and 250 Grand Prix riders all the way over the crest of the hill down in the braking zone for turn number 6, out of 6 over into 7. Looks like it's, I believe it's Demetrius out in front of Colton Roberts. Hard to see in the sunlight as they that duo rocket down that back straightaway over towards turn number 8 and down into turn number 9 by the museum. We'll make a confirmation of that when they come around to complete lap number 1.
Yeah, for sure. And if you all just now tuned in, you can always go check out the live race, the timing and scoring and all that jazz over at race-monitor.com. I'm going to be putting them here in the broadcast as well, but just in case you want to go check it out, you're more than welcome. Alrighty, our very first bikes are heading towards 15 and 16.
Race leaders out of turn number 17 down the front straightaway at the line. It is going to be 600. Bob Demetrius with bike number 9, Colton Roberts back there. C27 Mark Brown, he was my mystery third place rider. As those three have got a break away from the rest of the field. Then it's going to be 19 Christopher Spargo and 304 Kevin Dinsmore rounding out your top 5. Then at 709 Joe Ackley back there in 6th with 1B David Roper back in 7th. 127 Ronald Scudder and 8th, M49 Thomas Hillard, and 301 Mark Hodel rounding out your top 10. So Demetrius leading Colton Roberts and C27 Mark Brown, that's your top 3 for the Formula 250 class. And then going on back, looks like 1B David Roper leading for the 250 Grand Prix, being chased down by 127 Robin Scudder. They're running first and second in class as the field starts their next lap.
Sounded like somebody from our very pre-1940 class.
Yeah, it was.
Just went past.
It's
Go
for announce.
I'm not seeing our back-to-back out there.
Yeah, I got the list here on this one. This is 3 or 4. We don't have one. Yeah. But thank you for
And
thinking
now would be a
about
great
me.
time to go check Race Monitor and see about some scoring.
Out there on the track, 600 Bob Demetrius still holding the better of his battle with bike number 9, Colton Roberts, and C27 Mark Brown still right there within striking distance as they start their next lap. 19 Christopher Spargo still in that 4th place position. 709 Joe Ackley again rounding out our top 3. Looks like 19 Christopher Spargo, he's actually up to the lead for our 250 Grand Prix. That last lap I said was 1B David Roper, but it's not. It's 19 Christopher Spargo leading for the 250 Grand Prix. Then moving on down through the field, 1B David Roper, second in class, and 127 Robin Scudder rounding out the top 3 for the 250 Grand Prix as bike number 600, Bob Demetrius, shows the rest of the field the fast way around this track. That's the
Oh, dripping.
That's the camera up on top of the tower.
Might have just some
That is-
precipitation.
That is so weird. I've never seen that.
In case you're wondering what we're talking about, we've got security cameras all over the place, so there was kind of a funny, like water dripping off of one of them. Anyway, let's get back to the racing action. So it looks like, these our leaders?
Leaders should be over there out of 7, I think.
They should be back over that way.
600, Bob Demetrius still holding on to his limited advantages over bike number 9, Colton Roberts, but it looked like Roberts had a great drive out of turn number 7, that last chance, working their way down that back straightaway, obviously getting into some lap traffic. We're going to see if that's going to play a factor. Meanwhile, C27, Mark Brown still showing back there in third for the Formula 250. For the 250 Grand Prix class, 19, Christopher Spargo still leads. Bike number 1B, Dave Roper. And 127, Robin Scudder, as halfway flags should be coming out next time by.
I'm just gonna keep an eye out for the flagman then, because he knows who's in the race leader.
Yeah, they should.
It's kind of hard to tell sometimes because the 250s are really similar.
Here they come. Halfway flags out for your race leader is bike number 600, Bob Demetrius, still leading Colton Roberts. Roberts right there in their tail section as they're weaving and picking their way through traffic as they dive down into turn number 1. Meanwhile, C27, Mark Brown, about a full front straightaway lead back. He's still comfortably back there in third. As Colton Roberts still trying to figure out how to get around Demetrius as they come out of turn number 4. It looks like Colton Roberts managed to pull the trigger that time and get around Demetrius and probably a back marker.
That's them
as
going
you
into
put
the
Colton
hairpin right now.
Roberts
That's
on
their
bike number
leaders.
9 up to the top step of the podium.
For
So now it's gonna be
250 or
600.
Formula 250.
Bob Demetrius' turn to try and reel in Colton Roberts as that duo rockets up over the little crest of the hill there in 7 and down the back straight away they go. Meanwhile, C27, Mark Brown still in tow back there in third with bike number 19, Christopher Spargo leading for the 250 Grand Prix field.
And now they're headed towards the museum.
Attention out in the paddock. Let's go first call. First call for race number 4. Battle of the Twins 1 and Sound of Singles 1. You folks will be up here in just a moment. It's first call. First call for Battle of the Twins 1 and Sound of Singles 1. You folks will be up in just a moment. First call. First call for race number 4. Bike number 9, Colton Roberts, continues to turn up the pressure as he rockets down the front straightaway here. Has about 10 to 12 bike lengths on 600. Bob Demetrius, so Colton Roberts was biding his time, I think, a little bit in that first portion of the race. Now that they're past halfway, he's really turned it up and leads Bob Demetrius. Then the next across the line, it's going to be C27, Mark Brown rather. He's still holding on to that third place position with bike number 19, Christopher Spargo, running fourth overall, first in class for the 250 Grand Prix riders. Meanwhile, Colton Roberts once again up over the crest of the hill down in the braking zone with Charlotte's Web with bike number 600, Bob Demetrius, right there behind him. Still within striking distance. Colton Roberts hasn't checked on Demetrius yet, but still holds about 8 to 10 bike lengths between those two as they work their way up over the crest of the hill one more time and down that back straightaway towards turns number 8 and 9. We are past halfway, so whatever happens in this race, it will be official as the leaders working their way over by the museum turns right now. Speaking of the museum, they are open and will be open until 6 p.m. this evening. Y'all want to try and work your way over there. It's definitely worth a trip to see in all the vintage bikes. They've got one of the largest Lotus collections, Lotus car collections, and bike collections over there in North America. Also, the American Motordrome's Wall of Death is going to be firing up here pretty soon. They're a vintage live action thrill show featuring a 30-foot diameter silo-shaped wooden cylinder known as the Motordrome. Inside the Motordrome, Daredevils travel along the vertical wall performing tricks, fancy and acrobatic riding. Showtimes will take place throughout the day here. Also, the Globe of Death from the Urias family is proud to be performing in the original globe that was built by their great-grandfather almost 100 years ago. The Daredevil stunts are performed within the confines of a 16-foot diameter globe. Showtimes again will take place throughout the day, and if you're feeling a little bit hungry or thirsty, concession stands are open. They have a wide variety of concessionaires located in the fan zone, paddock, lot C, and upper and lower swap meet area. Out on the track, bike number 9, Colton Roberts, still leads bike number 600, Demetrius. Demetrius, though, starting to reel in Colton Roberts a little bit, pulls within about 4 to 5 bike lengths of him as they work their way down in through Charlotte's Web. Looks like Demetrius gets a good drive, closes within 4 bike lengths, now 3, trying to work the draft as that duo works their way down that back straightaway. Demetrius now still about 3 bike lengths adrift as Roberts, as they're going to encounter some lap traffic as they dive down out of view over in through turn number 8 into 9 into the museum area. We'll wait for him to come back into view here in just a moment. I'm not sure if Demetrius is going to be able to work that traffic to his advantage, or if it's going to go to Colton Roberts as they're through 9 and back up towards turn number 10, waiting for him to come back into view here in just a moment. Looks like Colton Roberts has managed to pull out about another couple of bike lengths, holding them by a 6 bike length advantage as they work their way around more lap traffic over in the turns 12 and 13 area. So Demetrius says, no, laps are starting to click off here. Whatever he's going to do, he's going to have to do it soon. A white flag should be coming out this next time by as the race leaders continue to pick around through the back markers, working their way through turns number 16, waiting for him to come into view here on turn number 17 onto the front straightaway in just a moment. And here they come. Looks like it's going to be Colton Roberts. Demetrius, though, right there, seeing the white flag. Demetrius takes a look up the inside, thinks the better of it, drops back in line. They are nose to tail. A bike length separate them as they start their exciting final lap. Tension in the paddock. Tension in the paddock. Let's go. Second call. Second call, race number 4. Battle of the Twins 1 and Sound of Singles 1. Second call, race number 4. Battle of the Twins 1, Sound of Singles 1. Second call, race number 4.
Here they come.
Battle for the lead as Demetrius takes a look up the inside on Colton Roberts down into Charlotte's Web. I don't think he was able to make it as Colton Roberts hold the inside line. Demetrius had to go just a little wide to make it around some of the back markers as now they rocket down that back straightaway. Looks like Demetrius trying to hold the draft of Colton Roberts as now they're back past one other back marker again, nose to tail. Down through turn number 9 they go out of sight. This is an exciting last lap here. Waiting for him to come back into view here up through turn number 10 over towards turn number 11. Who's it going to be? Looks like Colton Roberts holding the advantage. He might have been able to use some of the back markers as Demetrius back about 6 to 8 bike lengths. Not sure if he's going to be able to reel him in here on the last lap as they work their way up over the crest of the hill through turns number 13 and 14. Now over into 15. Looks like Colton Roberts holding the advantage, but can't quite tell at this distance. Waiting for him to come back one more time onto the start-finish line. And here comes your race leaders down the front straightaway. Looks like it's going to be it is 600. 600 Bob Demetrius. He was the one out in the lead over number 9, Colton Roberts. Those guys are way off far on the way. They have very similar bikes. Wasn't able to tell. So 600 Bob Demetrius takes the unofficial win out there over bike number 9. Colton Roberts taking the unofficial second. Then looking back through up the track here. Looks like it's going to be C27, Mark Brown taking the unofficial third for the Formula 250 with bike number 19, Christopher Spargo taking the unofficial win for the 250 Grand Prix in quite a hotly contested race between Bob Demetrius and Colton Roberts out there.
Very
those guys
exciting.
finished 1-2. Attention in the paddock. Let's go third call. Race number 4. Battle of the Twins 1 presented by Fast by Faraci and the Sound of Singles. You folks are up right now if you want to bring them on up. Again, it is third call. Third and final call for race number 4. Battle of the Twins 1. presented by Fast by Faraci and Sound of Singles 1. You guys are up right now. Third call for race number 4.
All right, and while these folks are all making their way back home, let's go on through here and put up the next graphics. Next race is race 4.
You want to read that one?
Yeah. And next up, race fans, race number 4 here at an exciting weekend of the 16th annual Barber Vintage Festival, powered by BMW Motorrad, is the Battle of the Twins 1. This is 905 cc's open class, sponsored by Fast by Faraci. Battle of the Twins is presented by Fast by Faraci Racing Products. The legendary 2-time Ducati World Superbike and 2-time AMA Superbike Championship winning team brings you the same passion it took to win its current range of products, offering the highest quality race-proven performance parts and products to enthusiasts worldwide for over 40 years. When you order from Faraci.com, you know it is personally backed by Iraldo Faraci himself. Be sure and keep an eye on Ducati's return to Moto America for this 2021 season and their Superbike program with Iraldo Faraci as the team manager. Make sure you visit Faraci.com. Battle of Twins 1 is open to all air-cooled twins 905 cc's and up. The air-cooled bikes have been obsolete by new technology but remain a favorite of builders, racers, and fans, and AHRMA has made a home for them. On the track, you'll see Ducatis, Moto Guzzi's, Buells, and BMW. This race also is going to be Sound of Singles 1. This is an unlimited displacement single-cylinder 4-stroke. This is modern singles with anything goes attitude and a platform where ingenuity and engineering shine. This is your race 4 here at the 16th annual Barber Vintage Festival.
Thank you.
Yep.
My voice a little bit of a break after that last
Yeah, no,
race.
I'm always down. I'm always down to read those.
That was
No
a
worries.
really good race. That was really
Yeah,
good
that was a
race.
great race. Those two were absolutely cat and mousing it around here. Very exciting. Alrighty.
As the racers get ready to take to the track for their warm-up lap, here's how they're going to grid up out there. On row number 1, 35R, Scott Billings, 111 Gary Orr, 553 Paul Canali, and 14 Brian Laraber. Row number 2, it's 19 Nate Kern, 411 James Derek Mayo, and 46 Bob Robbins. Row number 3, it's 796 Paul Vance, 033 Kevin Madigan, 901 Sean Beese, and 576 Christian Jensen. Row number 4, it's 878 Peter Kosakis. Bike number 45C, Carl Cohen, and bike number 509, Robert Cole. Row number 5, it's 127B, Jacob Carter, R9, Alfredo Braca, 74, Wes Orloff, and 221C, Benedetto Cardella. Row number 6, it's going to be bike number 15R, JM Padron, and 4X, Kevin Kolick. For the Sound of Singles field, back on row number 8, it's going to be bike number 97K, Kevin Grimmel, 57, Kevin Brown, 53, Mike Robinson Jr., and bike number 2X, Tim O'Connor. Row number 9, it's going to be 602, Christopher Mock, 88, Charles Miller, and 73B, Blake Wilson. That's your field here for race number 4, the Battle of the Twins, presented by Fast by Faraci and the Sound of Singles 1. Let's see who's racing what.
This was definitely some great racing yesterday. Nate Kern, right out of the gate, very, very fast aboard that very cool BMW R9T. He ended up, I don't think he ended up winning those races, but he definitely had great, excellent starts. So keep an eye out because he definitely loves to get the jump on everybody. I think he was.
He might have won this one yesterday.
Did he win yesterday? He was super duper duking it out with a handful of folks, and it was super exciting.
I think he did win this one, but then the next races, a couple of races, he didn't do some.
Oh, okay.
I think he might have still been on the podium. Again,
Yeah.
16 races, all the classes.
I know
can't
it's hard to remember.
who did
It's
what.
hard to remember everything, but I do remember it being super exciting.
Mhm.
And he definitely had a great start, a great launch. You know, he's really familiar with this track. Aboard that very cool BMW R9T that I enjoy. Gary Orr also very fast aboard another very fast R9T out of California.
say, Wes Orloff, I thought did pretty good in this one yesterday, too.
Wes Orloff did do very good in here yesterday.
It was this one. I know Orloff did good in one of the races, but I wasn't sure if it was this one. J.M. Padron's usually pretty good, although this might have been the one that he crashed out of yesterday at 5, so I'm not sure he's got his life fixed or not.
Is Wes Orloff in this class?
Yeah, he's back here on number 5. So before Wes Orloff.
Oh, you have him on your sheets. I don't have him on. I have him on mine.
It's probably just because, well, that would be why he's back on number 5. He probably didn't pre-enter.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I'm
Yeah,
sure
he
these-
did do
these are
great.
probably
He did do
pretty
great
good.
yesterday. I remember saying his name several times.
Yeah.
But there's a couple beautiful Ducati Pulse Smarts out there. There's a Bimota. There's several BMW R9Ts. Several Ducati Super Sports. A 900 SS. Really beautiful bikes.
Green flag waves, and I couldn't tell. I think it might have been 19. Nate Kern just getting an absolutely rocket start from that second row. I was didn't quite watching the front, waiting for it to go, and somebody just dropped the hammer and took off. Here for the Saturday singles, it looks like that class is getting rocketing away themselves, waiting for the field to crest over the hill. Out in turn number 5 down into the braking zone. Out front, I believe, again, it is 19 Nate Kern as the rest of the field trying to reel him in. Whoever the lead bike is, he's got good 20-25 bike links on the rest of the field as everybody's starting to spread out single file through Charlotte's Web up over the crest of the hill for 7 and down that back straightaway. Meanwhile, sound of singles one riders all spread out single file themselves now over the crest of the hill down in the braking zone for Charlotte's Web themselves. We'll get the full, complete, and official running order here for you in just a moment when they complete lap number 1.
Yeah, I ran into Nate Kern last night out in the parking lot when I was heading out of here last night, and he's mentioned, I told him he had a great day yesterday, and it was very exciting to watch. He did bring that up. I mentioned his great starts, and he said from racing in Europe the past handful of years, it's really upped his launch game because he's like, the Europeans are so fast. If you don't get the launch, like, you're done. If you don't, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, that's right. Race leader across the line. It is bike number 19, Nate Kern. About a half a first straightaway lead after that first lap. Then 11, Gary Orton. 14, Brian Larimerl rounding out your top 3. 46, Bob Robbins back there in 4th. And 35R, Scott Billings rounding out your top 5. 74, Wes Orloff back there in 6th. And then bike number 15R, J.M. Padron in 7th. With 45C, Carl Cohen in 8th. 796, Paul Vance in 9th. And 033, Kevin Madigan rounding out your top 10. As everybody's starting to spread out single file. At 19, Nate Kern absolutely on rails, setting a blistering pace here. And the opening laps here of this race number 4. He's looks like he's got almost a full front straightaway lead over second place rider 111
Gary Orr.
And Orr himself.
A pair of hammers.
About a half a front straightaway lead over 14 and Brian Larimerl and 46 Bob Robbins. Looks like Larimerl and Robbins having a bit of a battle themselves of who's going to stand on that third step of the podium as 19, Nate Kern shows the rest of the field the fast way around this track as he's already about of turn number 10, 11, up over to 12 and 13 here. Ward doing what he can to try and reel it back in, but those guys are both flying here in the opening laps as Nate Kern back in the back section right now through turns 14 and 15.
Well, that's very exciting and appropriate. The title sponsor for this weekend's event, BMW Motorrad, and there's a pair of BMWs at the very front of this class.
Race leader Nate Kern one more time across the start-finish line. Again, almost a full front straightaway lead over second place rider 111, Gary Orr. Here's the battle for third. Looks like it's going to be a three-way battle between Larimerl, Robbins, and here comes Scott Billings on 35R. Meanwhile, 15R, J.M. Padron moving up in front of Wes Orloff. Moved Padron up onto 6. He's on the march forward as bike number 74, Wes Orloff, wanting to join him, is back there in 7th. Meanwhile, bike number 19, Nate Kern, still at a comfortable lead over into the braking zone, down into Charlotte's Web, and then back up the hill and back up through the gearbox. Looks like got some impact passing going on back here again for that third place position. Has moved J.M. Padron up to challenge Billings, Robbins, and Lariboro for that third step on the podium as that gaggle of bikes works their way out of turn number 7 down that back straightaway. Everybody pretty much evenly matched for horsepower, nobody breaking away as that group drops down into turn number 9 over by the museum. Meanwhile, up front, bike number 19, Nate Kern, out of turn number 12 over into 13, comfortably in the lead. 111, Gary Orr, solidly back there in second as those guys are turning pretty comparable lap times. Looks like Nate Kern turned a 135.117 to Gary Orr's 136.249. So not quite a second difference between those two guys here as waiting for Nate Kern to come back around to start his next lap. And there he goes across the start-finish line, looking back up towards turn number 17. Here comes your second place rider, 111 Gary Orr. Now the battle for third. Who's it going to be as that bike, that group of bikes works their way out of 17 at this line? It is going to be 46 Bob Robbins in front of 14 Brian Lariboro. Meanwhile, 35R Scott Billings and J.M. Padron having a battle for that fifth with 74 Wes Orloff. Right there, rounding out your top 7 as leader over to Charlotte's Web, then Orr in second place there in over to Charlotte's Web. Here's the battle for third out of turn number 4 over the crest of the hill.
Alrighty, show you some race monitor right now. There's your stats and your details. It's Nate Kern 1, Gary Orr 2, Bob Robbins 3, Brian Lariboro 4, Scott Billings 5th. And that is your Battle of the Twins class. Your first
Looks like 46
singles
Bob
is going to be a
Robbins
little
got
bit
a
further
little bit
down.
of breathing room with bike number 14, Brian Lariboro trying to reel him in. So put Robbins up on that third step of the podium with Lariboro back there in fourth, and Scott Billings still battling it out with J.M. Padron, and that's for 6th.
There we go, a little bit further down so you can see those scores down there. It's all Battle of the Twins, and then you see your first couple Sound of Singles folks in there as well. Let's get back to the track.
Halfway flags out for your race leader, bike number 19, Nate Kern, starting the second half of his race. Then it's going to be 111, Gary Orr, back there in second, looking up towards the back of the track. Here comes the rest of the field out front on this one. It is going to be 46 Bob Robbins, 14 Brian Lariboro, 15R J.M. Padron works himself up to the top 5 with 35R Scott Billings, and then it's going to be 74 Wes Orloff with bike number 796.
Your leader
Paul
in
Vance
Charlotte's Web
there
right now.
behind him.
With
So
Gary
J.M.
Orr in
Padron
2.
trying to figure out how he can get around Lariboro and Robbins to put himself up on the podium as that trio out of turn number 4 up over the crest of the hill, but everybody down hard on the brakes. It looks like Lariboro's still holding on to that 4th position as Bob Robbins in 3rd, and bike number 15R J.M. Padron right there behind him. Looks like Lariboro gets a great drive out of 7 down that back straightaway, but Robbins still has the superior horsepower as he leads that group of 5 riders. Robbins, Lariboro, Padron, Billings, or rather 4 riders, down over and through turn number 8 one more time.
Leader should be coming here in just a second. The double beamers up front of Nate Kern and Gary Orr in 1 and 2.
Bike number 19, Nate Kern, and now seeing past halfway, so whatever happens, this race would be official. Then it's going to be 111 Gary Orr. Here comes the battle for thirds between Robbins, Lariboro, and Padron, with Scott Billings right there behind him. So again, it's a 3-way battle for who's going to stand on that 3rd step of the podium as Kern over through turn 5 down into turn number 6. Then it's going to be Orr coming out of turn number 4 himself. Here's the battle for third as they rocket out of turn number 4 down into the braking zone one more time. Looks like Robbins still holds the outside. Laraburro taking the inside, and then J.M. Padron again on the outside as they're all nose to tail around some of the back markers, get by him cleanly. Here comes Laraburro again, trying to work a draft pass on Robbins, but just can't quite make it work as Robbins leads Laraburro, Padron and Billings down into turn number 8 one more time. So the song remains the same. The next verse is being sung as bike number 19, Nate Kern, continues to show the fast way around this track as he put his head down at the beginning of this one and never looked back. Race leader, bike number 19, Nate Kern, through some of the lap traffic, cleanly passed around a back marker as he starts his next lap. Then it's going to be bike number 111, Gary Orr, coming across the start-finish line as he gets around some of the slower traffic. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these lap riders are going to maybe shake up this battle for third, as Robbins, Laraburro, and Padron have all been pretty much Velcroed together as they rocket across the start-finish line one more time. Robbins continues to lead Laraburro and Padron. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens when the white flag comes out this next time by, if somebody doesn't try and pull a move here pretty soon, because you know that Laraburro and Padron have just been absolutely chomping at the bit trying to figure out how to get around Pop Robbins as that trio works their way out of turn number 4 up over the crest of the hill one more time. Laraburro pulls the trigger that time, moves up to the inside of Robbins, but can't quite make the pass stick. So Robbins up in front through Charlotte's Web. Laraburro trying to double apex and makes it work. His move, Laraburro, bike number 14, Brian Laraburro up to that third step of the podium. Bob Robbins on 46 back there in fourth, and bike number 15R, J.M. Padron, back in that 5th position. So Brian Laraburro pulling a masterful strategy. Maybe he tipped his hand too soon. We'll see here how it's going to shape up, and to see if Brian Laraburro on bike number 14 can hold on to the lead as that trio working their way through turns number 10, waiting for them to come back into view here as they work their way back up the hill. As they do, it looks like, I can't tell from here, but I think Laraburro might still be in the lead. Can't quite tell. White flag in hand with the starter as here comes your race leader, bike number 19, Nate Kern, across the start-finish line. Attention out in the paddock. Let's go first call. First call for race number 5. Again, first call for race number 5. Classic 60s 650, Classic 60s 200 Grand Prix, 2-stroke Classic 350, and 2-stroke Classic 250.
And
first
here they
call
come.
for race number 5.
This
First
group
call.
of
Here's the battle for the third place position. Bob Robbins did manage to get back in front of Brian Laraburro on that last lap, and he brought 15R, J.M. Padron with him. So move 14, Brian Laraburro, back to that 5th place position. Brian might have tipped his hand just a little bit too much, or they might have gotten hung up behind some slower traffic. Hard to say, but up front it's 19, Nate Kern, then 111, Gary Orr, then 46, Bob Robbins. He had a little bit of breathing room that time with J.M. Padron. Looks like Padron, though, pulled the trigger himself out of turn number 4. Over the crest of the hill into 5 and down into 6. So move Padron up to that third step of the podium. Now 46, Bob Robbins has his hand full with Padron as bike number 14, Brian Laraburro, drops back a little bit, still rounding out your top 5 as Padron up to that third step of the podium. Meanwhile, up front, 19, Nate Kern, all the way out of turn number 11 over into 12 and 13 here on his final lap. Then it's going to be 111, Gary Orr, as he's holding solidly on to second, working his way around some of the back markers. Here's the battle for third, waiting for him to come up. It was J.M. Padron, looks like it still is, as he finds his speed up over the crest of the hill for turns 13 and 14 with bike number 46, Bob Robbins, dropping back just a bit, and then bike number 14, Brian Laraburro, rounding out the top 5. Checkered flag out for your unofficial race winner, bike number 19, Nate Kern, holding on to the win. Then it's going to be bike number 111, Gary Orr, taking a quick peek behind him, holding on to that 2nd place position. Here's going to be the battle for third, looking back up towards turn number 17. Who's it going to be? It was, I believe, J.M. Padron holding on to the lead, and it is taking J.M. Padron taking the unofficial 3rd out there. Let's go second call. Let's go second call for race number 5. Classic 60s 650, presented by John and Candy Sneed. The Classic 60s race also presented by John and Candy Sneed. The 200 Grand Prix presented by Kincaid Legacy. two-stroke classic 350, and two-stroke classic 250. Again, second call for race number 5. Second call for race number 5, classic 60s 650 and classic 60s, sponsored by Candy and John Steed. 200 Grand Prix Plus, presented by Kincaid Legacy. Two-stroke classic 350 and two-stroke classic 250. You folks will be up in just a moment. It is second call for race number 5.
So kind of interesting, I obviously have an affinity for the friends of our BMW, but my buddy Nate Kern, I've known him a really long time, and when they released that R9T bike several years ago, 10 plus years ago, he had been racing for a while, and he was really passionate about bringing this bike and turning into a race platform, this machine that's kind of a more of a cafe racer type vibe. He wanted to show that that boxer engine actually could put power down to the ground and be competitive, and he sure as heck is proven that point out here with that great looking R9T. So congratulations to Mr. Nate Kern, and then Gary Orr in second. The team BMW win. Not Team BMW literally, but a pair of Beamers up at the front of the pack for the Battle of the Twins, and then that epic battle between 3, 4, and 5. Holy smokes, you could have thrown a blanket over them. They were so close. Dicing it up out there. Very, very exciting racing for race number 4 of a 16-race program. That's right. Woo! We've got a dozen more races to go. Super busy day here during our lunch break, which kicks off at about 11 o'clock. We'll be switching over, showing you some highlights and a little bit of behind-the-scenes footage and some race footage from the dirt racing program that goes on here this weekend. That's right. It's not just road racing. We do dirt racing out here as well at the 16th annual Barber Vintage Fest, powered by BMW Motorrad. Alrighty, next race number 5, Classic 6650.
Repurchase their t-shirts, and they still
Attention out there in the paddock. Let's go third and final call for race number 5, Classic 6650 and Classic 60s, presented by John and Candy Steed. 200 Grand Prix Plus, presented by Kincaid Legacy. Two-stroke Classic 350 GP and two-stroke Classic 250 GP. You folks are up right now. If you want to bring them on up, we'll send you out for your hot lap. Again, it is third and final call for race number 5. Again, third and final call, race number 5, Classic 60s 650 and Classic 60s, presented by John and Candy Steed. 200 Grand Prix, presented by Kincaid Legacy. 250 or two-stroke Classic 350 GP and two-stroke Classic 250 GP. You folks are up right now. For the Classic 60s 650, this is co-sponsored by John and Candy Steed and Von Zipper. Von Zipper offers premium sunglasses and goggles founded by a fellow AHRMA racer. The Von Zipper experience is a sweet spot between optimism and individualism. It's a sunny place where you can be anyone you want to be and celebrate anything you want to do. Check them out at vonzipper.com. Born in Southern California, Von Zipper has been handcrafting premium eyewear for free thinkers and outsiders since 2000. Focusing on amazing products and the good times that come with it, Von Zipper inspires self-expression with a shared confidence in being different, encouraging people to see the world through the VZ lens. We're all about fun at Von Zipper. For the Classic 650s race itself, or the machines themselves, these are 1950 and 60 era 650cc overhead valve and 883cc side valve, aka flathead machines. This class runs with, but is scored separately from Classic 60s. The popular models include Triumph and BSA 650s and Harley K models. And speaking of the Classic 60s, this is sponsored by John and Candy Steed. These are 1950 and 60s era Grand Prix and Clubman style racers with 350 cc's to 550 cc four-stroke overhead valve and overhead cam configurations, along with 750cc side valve machines similar to models as 500 GP and 500 Premier, but in a more original trim. They have a maximum of 4-speed gearbox. Norton-mounted Alex McLean has been the national and Dixie Cup champion for the past 6 seasons. The 200 Grand Prix Plus class, sponsored by Kincaid Legacy Racing. This class combines a variety of engine designs and displacements based on an index of performance. This class is for 1968 and earlier machines, including 250cc 4-stroke singles, 250 air-cooled 2-stroke singles, 175 air-cooled 4-stroke twins, 175 air-cooled 2-stroke singles and twins, and includes purpose-built race bikes and converted production road and off-road bikes. The bump-up class for this one is the 250 Grand Prix field. Greg Levicki at Lost Boys Racing claimed the 2020 AHRMA National Championship. The 2-stroke classic 350 Grand Prix field. This class is a showcase for 1974 through 1984 era purpose-built 350 liquid-cooled Grand Prix race bikes. At the 2-stroke classic 250 Grand Prix field, this is a showcase for 1974 through 84 era purpose-built 250cc liquid-cooled Grand Prix race bikes. That's how the field stacks up for the machines. Now let's see how they're going to grid up when they come around. On row number 1, 1M Mike Baker, 864 John Rickard, 5 Greg Tomlinson, and 59C Bill Gould. At row number 2, it's 588 Jake Hall, 731 Stan Keys, and C73 David Kaufman. Row number 3, it's 391 David Spanjar. For the Classic 60s presented by John and Candy Sneed, back on row number 5, it's 122 Alex McLean, 623 Patrick McGraw, 33Q David Tompkins, and 383 Andy Feinling. And then row number 6, it's bike number 9A John Sneed. Excuse me, for the 200 Grand Prix Plus class presented by Kincaid Legacy, row number 9, it's 784 Christopher Acaden, 270 Rob Hall, 294 John Scales, and 820 Mitchell Barnes. Row number 19 is Christopher Spargo, 220 Tim Terrell, and bike number 6 Bill Doran. Row number 10, it's 215 Stuart Sanders, 176 Tony Reed, 950 Don Hollingsworth, and 35L Jack Haynes. Row number 11 is 022 Cindy McLean, bike number 9 Grayson Rogers, and 88 Charles Miller. Row number 12, it's 02 Jonathan Hollingsworth, 49L Lex Robb, and bike number 049F Danny Habermel, and 842 Tom Sanders. For row number 13, it's 171 Chris Marlowe, 13K Rod Skaggs, and 533 Hiroshi Murata. Row number 14 is 27X Ross Tuffy, 21X Larry Poons, 07 Mike Miranda, and 357 Joe Corey. And for the 2-stroke Classic 350 GP field, on row number 16, the lone rider will be 417 Michael Perry. And for the 2-stroke Classic 250 GP, the lone rider is bike number 516, Sakis Vasilopoulos, back on row number 18. That is your field here for race number 5. Step away from just a moment.
Yep. This Classic 60 650 co-sponsored by Candy and John Sneed and Von Zipper. Von Zipper owner, Mr. Greg Tomlinson, also known as GT, is racing in this class with a very cool Triumph prepped by Toad Town Racing. GT, loads of fun. He's jumped up on here and been part of the broadcast before. When did I see him last? Laguna Seca it must have been. But a super fun character, passionate about keeping that old Triumph running and racing and rocking and rolling. And then this 250 Grand Prix and away they go. I was gonna say the 250 Grand Prix class, or 200 Grand Prix. That's what I meant to hit. My bad. Let me go change that graphic. I hit the wrong thing. $200 GP. There we go. What I was going to say is that 200 Grand Prix class is kind of our bump is our points class for folks that are racing CB160. So the CB160 race, which is huge and very, very popular here with AHRMA in particular. You can see that the first wave is making their way through the backside of the track right now. And this is going to be the second wave. So this 200 class is the points awarded class for the CB160. Like I was saying, it's a huge grid, but that is just an exhibition race only. So if they want to get points, they have to compete in this 200 Grand Prix class in order to chase points and win championships. So this is a lot of folks who are racing both classes in here. Very exciting racing, very cool.
A little bit of a ragged start that time as we had some stalled bikes in wave number 1. So the second wave got hung up just a little bit longer, but they finally get the bikes going. Wait for the field to come back around and complete lap number 1 here in just a moment. And they let that second group just cook.
Yeah, they're clipping on along.
Race leaders out of turn number 17 across the start-finish line. At the line, it is going to be bike number 122, Alex McLean. No surprise there with 864, John Rickard. And 588, Jake Hall right there behind him with 731, Stan Keys. And bike number 5, Greg Tomlinson, rounding out your top 5. Moving on down through the field in that 6th place position, C27, David Kaufman. 7th is 33Q, David Tompkins. 8th overall is 338, Andy Feinling. 9-8, John Sneed back there in 9th, and bike number 59C, Bill Gould, rounding out your top 10. So up front, McLean leading for the Classic 60s. John Rickard back there in 2nd. He's leading for the Classic 60s, 650. Then 588, Jake Hall. He's 2nd class, Classic 60s, 650. Then 731, Stan Keys rounding out the top 3 for the Classic 60s, 650. Then we're going on back to that 6th place position overall. That's going to be C73, David Kaufman. He's running 2nd for Classic 60s. And then I believe, I think it's going to be 33Q, David Tompkins. Yeah, he's running 3rd overall at the moment for Classic 60s.
Those were your first
as
two
the rest of
200
the field
Grand Prix
starts to
bikes
spread
coming
out here.
across?
Pardon me?
That was your first couple 200 Grand Prix coming across just now? So I'm going to click on over to Race Monitor for those of you that are watching at home. So we can go ahead and check out the stats. Let's take a gander. And let me go ahead and go adjust that guy. I think he's a little too short. There you go. Boop.
So we get this one in, then we'll get race 6, and then we'll be on
All
lunch break.
Classic 60s folks so far. And let me go lower it so we can see the 200 Grand Prix. Christopher Spargo in 1. Alrighty. I'm keeping an eye out for that first wave, which was our Classic 60s bikes.
Slow rider coming out of 6 up over the crest of the hill. I think it's going.
Not yet on the Classic 60s, guys. We're
Yeah,
we're still deep
Still
in
see those
200.
little 200s flying
Yeah, we're
by.
still deep in 200 land.
Here they
There
are.
we go.
No,
No,
that wasn't him.
that's pretty significant.
Well, that wasn't him. Unless, well, maybe my mind for a second. Let me see. Maybe my computer froze up. Nope. I'm still clicking down.
All right, keep an eye out.
There he went.
All right. right, so that was the beginning of our.
122, Alex McLean still leading for the Classic 60s, and the race overall still being chased down by 864 John Rickard. But those guys are running in different classes. Rickard out there leading for the Classic 60s 650 field. Then it's going to be 588 Jake Hall in second for the Classic 60 650, and then Mike number 5 Greg Tomlinson moving himself up onto the step of the podium, third step of the podium. As he holds on to third for the Classic 60 650, 73 Stan Keys dropping back in position, holding fourth in his class, and it's going to be 33Q David Tompkins holding on to the Classic 60s, and he's in second place in the C73 David Kaufman holding on to that third step of the podium as bike number 122 Alex McLean shows the rest of the field again the fast way around this racetrack. Halfway flags should be coming up here the next time by. Hollingsworth, Keys, and Sneed are all back to back.
Alrighty. "27 bikes in this 200 Grand Prix class, so it's pretty big. It's pretty sizable. Like I was saying though, for folks that are racing the CB160s that wanted to go ahead and try to get points and win championships and things, they have to race in this class. The CB160 standalone is simply an exhibition race. So that gives you a pretty good idea of how big that CB160 grid is going to look.
No, they're just talking about whether they're going to get the race number 6 in before we got to break for lunch or not. We got a hard stop to be off the track at 11 a.m.
Oh, okay.
And it's 10:30, and we're still just past halfway in this one. We still got one more to get in, and we got back to back. So we'll see what they're going to do.
Alrighty, we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna leave this one.
So we have a break coming up at 11, so we will be jumping off of the road racing program, but there will be picking up some dirt racing and off-road racing from Rebecca, who's going to be streaming and editing some videos and things over there. So she's got some great coverage that she's going to be putting up on, so make sure you stay tuned. Turn the notifications on so you can go ahead and check that out. We'll be back with more road racing at about noon.
Flags come out for your race leader, 122 Alex McLean, letting him know he's got 4 done and 4 left to go. Still being chased down by John Rickard, Jake Hall, and Greg Tomlinson. Those are the top 3 for the Classic 60 650. Then 33Q David Tompkin and 731 Stan Keys rounding out your top 6 with C37 David Kaufman back there in 7th. He's still holding on that 3rd place for the Classic 60s. Then 338 Andy Findings back there in 8th. 9A John Sneed in 9th, and bike number 270 Rob Hall showing up in the top 10. He's leading for the 200 Grand Prix Plus class as we're into the halfway point on this race. I was going to say something, I forgot what it was.
That 11 o'clock break?
No. It'll come back to me. He's going to do some type of an announcement for everybody. Let's see. Attention out there in the paddock, if you all have pre-ordered your event t-shirts through AHRMA, if you want to stop by in the merchandise booth, please pick up your t-shirts as quickly as you can. We still have several of those for pickup down here. Again, if you've pre-ordered or pre-bought your AHRMA event t-shirts for this event this weekend and you have not picked them up, please make your way down to the AHRMA merchandise booth set up down here in the tech area as quickly as possible to pick those up. Also want to let you know, Therese from Cloud9 Sports Massage has her table set up down there for racers. If you guys are feeling a little stiff after your race, or maybe you didn't get a good night's sleep, or maybe you're just looking to be a little bit more prepared for your race this afternoon, you want to stop by and see Therese from Cloud9 Sports Massage. She can work out some of the kinks in your muscles, either upper body or lower body.
Somebody get
$20
very wide
for a
out there in that
20-minute
Charlotte's
session.
Web.
And we spend all this money on all this equipment and seem to neglect the biggest part of the equation, which is the rider's body themselves. So again, Therese from Cloud9 Sports Massage has herself set up on the in the tech area down there. Again, 20 minutes for $20. It's definitely worth an investment to try and help you be a little bit more limber and work out some of the kinks before you go out or even after your racing. You got a bunch of races this afternoon. Good to go and see her in between the races. Keep your body feeling good. Again, Cloud9 Sports Massage down in the tech area.
I mean, I think it's pretty nice that we've got somebody here doing massage all weekend,
yeah,
but it's not just for racers, man. It's for people that are camping.
It can be anybody. Yeah. And she's been doing it for a long time. She's really good at it too.
I don't know about your quality of hotel, but sometimes some of these hotels I stay in, sometimes I could certainly use a massage the next day.
It's definitely that's for sure. Mouse to control.
Let's take a
Should I
peek
roll
at
calls
race
or
monitor.
what are we doing?
Let's take a look. See where we're at.
Copy
This
that.
looks like this must be. There we go. Let's
Copy
scoot
that.
up a little bit. Alrighty, Alex McLean in 1. No surprise out there. Very, very fast for the Classic 60s. And John Rickert is Classic 60 650 in first place.
Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. Let's go first call. First call for race number 6. Open two-stroke presented by Tony Dukas and Motard and Next Gen Superbike Medium Weight presented by 4SR. You folks will be up here in just a moment. It is first call for race number 6. Open two-stroke presented by Tony Dukas, Motard, and Next Gen Superbike presented by 4SR. Oh, and the Bears class presented by John and Candy Sneed. Again, first call for race number 6. First call.
There you go. Missed a couple 200 Grand Prix, folks. There you go. There's your first. Looks like Rob Hall is in 1. Spargo in 2nd. Acaden in 3rd.
White flag out for your race leader, 122, Alex McLean, as he starts his final lap out here, looking back up towards the turn number 17. Waiting for your second place bike should be bike number 864, John Rickard out there. He's actually leading in the Classic 6650 race, and it's going to be bike number 5, Greg Tomlinson. He was getting the better of his battle with 588, Jake Hall. So those guys are duking it out to see who's going to stand on that second step of the podium for the Classic 6650 field. And it's going to be bike number 33Q. Actually, 270, Rob Hall comes across the line next. He's leading for the 200 Grand Prix Plus class. Then it's going to be 33Q, David Tompkins, and it looks like 731, Stan Keys. 19, Christopher Spargo. Looks like he's holding on to that second place position for the 200 Grand Prix Plus class as the rest of the field starts their final lap here in race number 5. Looks like white flag out for race leader 122, Alex McLean, as he starts his second lap, or his last lap, being chased down by 864, John Ricard, bike number 5, Greg Tomlinson, getting the better of his battle with 588, Jake Hall, so he's holding on to that second step of the podium. Then 270, Rob Hall, out there on the leading for the 200 Grand Prix field as he starts his final lap. Then 33Q, David Tompkins, 731, Stan Keys, and bike number 19, Christopher Spargo. Spargo holding on to that second place for 250 Grand Prix Plus as he starts his final lap. Oops, if I turn the mic on. That's why I just repeated that. Look now, the mic's off.
I was a little curious what was going on over there.
Why is he repeating himself exactly what
I
he
thought,
said?
I thought maybe you were just having a moment.
I don't know about you, but I like these little boxes. These things are handy.
Alrighty, checkers are
Checkered
out.
flag out for your unofficial race winner, bike number 122, Alex McLean, as he handily takes the unofficial win out there. With the checkered flag out, let's go second call. Second call for race number 6, open two-stroke, Motard, Next Gen Superbike Medium Weight, and Bears. You guys are up here in just a moment. It is second call. Second call, race number 6, open two-stroke, Motard, Next Gen Medium Weight, and Bears. Second call, race number 6, second call.
Yeah, Alrighty, so it looks like we're going to squeeze one more race in before our lunch break at 11. Again, if you're just now tuning in, thank you so much for watching day 2 of a very exciting 16 race session going on. Each day, 16 races out there happening. Very busy, very heavy grids, over 600 registered racers going on each day. Absolutely crazy. Just super, super busy, super exciting. Anyway, so we got one more race going on before lunch. At the lunch break, we'll be flipping over and showing you some broadcast footage from the dirt racing side of Barber Vintage Festival, and then we'll be back with more road racing live at about 12 o'clock. So make sure you stay tuned, turn those notifications on. You are not going to want to miss it. And now let's go ahead and change these grids out for race number 6. Where are we? Open 2-stroke? You mean to read that sheet?
Yeah, if you would please. 'Cause
Yeah.
As soon as I get third, I need to go take a quick pause.
Yep.
And if you do the sheet, then I'll give you grids, and then we'll eat some lunch.
Yep, lunch is going to happen. We do eat. We're not robots. Next Gen Superbike middle. All right.
Hang on just a second.
Change of plan.
I'm waiting for her to give me third.
All right, race number 6. Next race going up is going to be Open 2-stroke. Sponsored by Tony Dukas.
Attention down in the paddock. Let's go third call. Third and final call for race number 6. Open 2-stroke presented by Tony Dukas Racing. The Motard Field Next Gen Superbike presented by 4SR. And the Bears class presented by Candy and John Sneed. Once again, it's third call. Third and final call for race number 6. Folks, bring them on up. We'll send you out right now. Again, third call. Third and final call. Open 2-stroke. Motard Next Gen Superbike. Middleweight and Bears. Third call. Race number 6. It's all yours.
Race number 6. Race number 6 coming up in just one moment. Race number 6 of a 16 race series today here at the 16th annual Barber Vintage Festival powered by BMW Motorrad. Race number 6 is going to be Open 2-stroke sponsored by Tony Dukas Racing. Since 1973, Tony Dukas Racing has specialized in high-performance 2-stroke parts and services, including TDR reeds, providing the latest engine, accessory, and exhaust designs for Yamaha RZ350 stroker engines. Dedicated R&D combined with dyno and race testing results in the best overall performance and reliability. TDR can provide RZ-based twin engines up to 1200 cc and even 3 and 4 cylinder versions for racing or recreation. They also build 2-stroke street bikes using current 600 cc sport bike chassis fitted with RZ style engines. Visit TDRRZ.com to learn more. Open to any 2-stroke motorcycle. This is unlimited on engine size or number of cylinders, frame type, cooling type, or model year. You'll see everything from home-built customs to purpose-built production race bikes to exotic, late-model Grand Prix machines. Truly the ultimate showcase for 2-stroke race bikes. Motard, sponsored by Motul, makes bike setup and maintenance easy so you can focus on the fun. They invite you to check out the new Slacker V4 with Bluetooth. Work smart, play hard with Motul. The motard class is known as supermoto or super motard. Competitors often race on smaller tracks that combine dirt and pavement. In motard, you'll see unlimited displacement 2 and 4-stroke singles, which are based on motocross or dual sport bikes with limited modifications for road racing. Motocross, off-road, dual sport, and motard-specific single-cylinder machines apply. 2-stroke liquid-cooled to 500 cc, 2-stroke air-cooled unlimited, 4-stroke liquid-cooled to 570 cc, 4-stroke air-cooled unlimited displacement. This also is Next Generation Superbike Middleweight, sponsored by Jerry Nickel of 4SR Racing Suits. 4SR, make your track days even better. All of our standard, off-the-shelf 4SR leather suits are manufactured in exactly the same way as the suits produced for our 4SR factory riders. We have always used the same technological processes and materials for production and custom suits that ensures we are making the best quality riding gear available to everyone. We believe in producing the best possible garments for bikers and then work out the price afterwards, giving riders all over the world a genuine piece of riding kit developed with safety first. This next-gen Superbike middleweight class showcases what was raced in the late 80s through the early 1990s. It is limited to period-specific modifications. Bears, British, European, and American Racing Series, sponsored by John and Candy Sneed, 2-cylinder pushrod machines built up through 1968, competing under Formula 750 specifications. Must be representative of race bikes of the era, with fairings and low clip-on style handlebars. Brands typically represented include BMW, BSA, Harley-Davidson, Moto Guzzi, and Triumph. That is your specifications for race number 6.
As the riders take to the track for their warm-up lap, here's how they're going to grid up when they come back around. Row number 1, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, 117, David Kressel, 3Z, David Frick, and bike number R73, Greg Levicki. Row number 2, it's bike number 25, Frank Schoenbeck, 112, Adrian Jasso, and 99X, Jonathan Schendel. Row number 3, it's bike number 56, Stephen Gillen, bike number 917, Lorraine Kressel, 146, Paul Stamper, and bike number 404, Jeff Hennis. Row number 4, it's going to be 491, Brian Surtees, 781, Paul Nelson, and 251, Stuart Atkincade. Row number 5, it's 925, Kerry Crest, 19, Christopher Spargo, 329, Matthew Crabtree, and bike number 9, Colton Roberts. Row number 6, it's going to be 949, Keith Powell, 135, Jeremy Scherer, 641, Craig Herco, and then rounding out that field for the open 2 strokes on row number 7, it's going to be 41, Jacob Trosper. For row number 9 for the Motard field, it's going to be 21B, Andrew Berkeley, 133, Paul Elledge, and 43A, Stephen Alexander, and 785, Stephen Karatus. Row number 10, it's going to be 49X, Brian Rammer, and 67M, Mark Perrone. For the Next Gen Superbike Middleweight presented by 4SR, row number 12 is going to be 02, Jonathan Hollingsworth, 32B, Harry Vanderlinden, 204, Patrick Patriolia, and then bike number 224X, Bill Howard. Row number 13, it's 560X, Scott Wilson, 91, Sean Smith, and 3N, Jerry Nickel. Row number 14, it's 15G, Sean Gilmore, 700, Cameron Crockett, and 758, Sean Woolery. And then for the Bears class presented by John and Candy Sneed, back on row number 16, it's going to be 1S, Daniel May, 731, Stan Keys, 995, Patrick Hansen, and bike number 9A, John Sneed. That is your field here for race number 6. And nobody noticed that Trosper does not also ride with E. Mauser.
Oh.
That's why
They have a passenger.
That's why I checked up on that one. What?
They have a passenger. That's exciting.
What?
That's some very exciting
Looks like
new style of
the
racing.
two-stroke field away cleanly, as those 2-strokes are great to hear. You know, unfortunately, EPA has had their number with the 2-strokes here in North America, so it's great to hear those bumblebees take off down this front straightaway. Then it's going to be the Motard class. These guys are all pretty much, as I said, motocross-based bikes or dual sport bikes, and that's pretty cool to watch too. Out front, though, for the open 2-strokes, looks like it's bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, out in the lead as he works his way out of turn number 6 and working his way up through the crest of the hill and back that straightaway. Looks like everybody pretty much spread out single file. We'll get the full running order here for you in just a moment as the Next Gen Super Bikes and the Bears work their way down the front straightaway to start their race right now. This will be the final race we have this morning, and then we'll be at lunch break immediately following this race. And we've got some stuff going on with the track themselves. I believe we've got the VJMC parade lap at 11:15. Mary McGee will do another parade lap here. She's our Grand Marshal this weekend. She'll do a parade lap at 11:30. And then the paid parade laps tribute will be at 11:45. So I'm sure somebody's going to handle all those. We'll let you know when all that comes together. Right now, racers still working their way. Open two-stroke field all the way back over the back section of the course between 13, 14, 15, and 16. Front straightaway has our leader, no surprise, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli. Here's the battle for second between 117 David Kressel and 112 Adrian Jasso. Those guys are pretty much nose to tail there for that next lap. Then it's going to be 491 Brian Surtees. He came on strong yesterday and in his race. So he's in fourth, and then bike number R73, Greg Levicki, rounding out your top five. 99, Jonathan Schendel back there in sixth. 25, Frank Schoenbeck in seventh. 9, Colt Robertson eighth. 251, Stuart Atkincaid back there in ninth, and 781, Paul Nelson rounding out your top 10.
Ooh, someone running very wide out in Charlotte's Web. But they're fine. Just just a real tricky corner. It's real easy to come in very hot over there. At the very top of the screen here, just a moment, you'll see Starpoli moving briskly towards turns 15, 16, and 17. Looks like he's aboard a 2002 Honda RS 250R.
Race leader, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli there. It's going to be 491, Brian Surtees. He was fourth on that last lap, working himself up onto the second step of the podium. So Surtees definitely finding his rhythm as a bike number 112, Adrian Jasso, is getting the better of his battle with David Kressel. So Jasso still holding onto that third step of the podium. 117, David Kressel back to fourth, and R73, Greg Levicki, still rounding out your top five. As bike number 491, Brian Surtees sets his sights on trying to reel in bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli. So those guys riding very fast bikes. Surtees, what's he on, does it say? Looks like Brian Surtees riding a 2003 Yamaha TZ 250, so if I recall right, that was the last year for those bikes. Looks like Starpoli's on a 2002 RS 250R. So again, 19 and 20-year-old race bikes, and these guys are flat flying on them out there as Starpoli continues to lead Surtees on the leading Yamaha with bike number 112. Adrian Jasso right there behind it. Looks like Jasso's on a 2017 Suter 500cc two-stroke. So
that's Starpoli again at the top of your screen.
Major bike to be riding. A 500 two-stroke is nothing to sneeze at as he's holding on to that third place position and going on back through David Kressel. He's out there on a 78. According to this, he's out there on a 78 TZ 750. I don't know if that's quite right, but it is. He's definitely got that thing rocking and rolling. He's holding on to fourth right now.
Okay, so we're going to start back.
Okay.
Start making calls at 12.
Okay.
With the goal of popping back. Isn't it great?
Thank you for
Thank you,
about that
Jesus.
one. Yes. Jesus.
Alrighty.
I forget about chapel service on Sundays. I gotta remember to do that. Yeah. Out on the racetrack, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli still leading. Bike number 491, Brian Surtees, and 112, Adrian Jasso. Again, this will be the final race that we have here this morning. Then we'll be at lunch break. I know the schedule says we're supposed to start back at 12:30 here today, but we will start putting calls out at
Let's
12.
take a gander at Race Monitor.
So just a FYI on that one. At 12, we'll start putting calls out to get everybody going for this
Starpoli just
afternoon
crossed
racing.
start
So
finish
keep
line.
that in mind. Also, anybody
Brian
that has
Surtees hot on
pre-ordered
his
a
heels.
AHRMA event T-shirt, if you have not made your chances or
They're
made your way
already
down
past the track.
to the AHRMA merchandise booth, if you could do that as quickly as possible, we need to get those picked up. Otherwise, it's
There you
going to
go.
cost us quite a bit of
Greg
money to
Vicky
ship
just
those. So
crossed.
again,
Colton Roberts just
keep that in
crossed.
mind if you've already pre-purchased a
So Starpoli 1, Surtees 2, Jasso 3, Crystal 4, Vicky 5.
The merchandise booth to pick that up, we'd appreciate it. Also at 11:15 this morning, once we get into the lunch break, 11:15.
Your leaders are all making their way through Charlotte Webb right now.
In the tech area, we would ask that if you're going to
And are on
attend
that
the service,
top
please bring your
line,
chairs.
top
Again,
track line.
a non-denominational chapel service will happen at 11:15 down in the tech area. And don't forget to bring seating with you.
Let's go take a look at the backside. Those are your leaders right now. Ooh, a total battle going on between Surtees and Starpoli as they make their way towards 15, 16, and 17.
Halfway flags out for your race leader, bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, still being chased down by 491, Brian Surtees, then 112, Adrian Jasso, and then bike number 117, David Russell with R73, Greg Levicki rounding out your top five. The rest of the field seeing halfway, so
This
whatever's going
should
to
be
happen
your race
now,
leader.
this would be a completed
Oh, no, that's a
race
Motard,
since
never mind.
everybody's seen halfway. Once again, after this race, we'll be at
This
our
should be
lunch
it.
break. Bike number 491, Brian Surtees, continues to try and chip away at the lead of bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, as they rocket across the start-finish line. Then it's going to be 112, Adrian Jasso, and 117, David Crussell with R73, Greg Levicki. Looks like the leaders are going to start encountering some lap traffic as here comes Starpoli diving down into the brake zone, down in through Charlotte's Web, picking off one of them with Surtees free and clear himself, as looks like Starpoli has to pick his way through the back markers. Then it's going to be bike number 491, Surtees' turn to do it. Looks like he's going to get at least one on the front straightaway, but he's going to have to work his way around two over through turns 8 and 9. So looks like Starpoli's got a little bit of breathing room now. He's passed those guys over to turn number 9 by the museum, and then back up the hill through turns 10 and 11 they go.
Yeah, I imagine there's got to be some pretty good strategy about putting the traffic as little roadblocks between you and your competitor. I'm sure there's a little bit of ride wide thinking going on out there.
Yeah.
Let's go back and find them again. Race leaders should be at the top of your screen right now, making their way over towards, again, 15, 16, and 17.
Somebody's off the gravel trap. Low tire night.
It looks like one of our. There we go.
Bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli holding on to the lead, still picking his way, continues to pick his way through the back markers as Brian Surtees trying to reel him in, not able to do much. In fact, Starpoli was able to use those back markers to his advantage as he's definitely gapped out over 491. Brian Surtees back there in second. Starpoli up over the crest of the hill, out of turn number 7 down the back straightaway, while Surtees just come out of 6 now over the crest of the hill himself. As I know these guys got to be getting hot and tired. White flag should be coming out next time by. Then it's going to be 112, Adrian Jasso working his way out for the crest of the hill there down at the back stretch over towards turns number 8 and 9. Russell and Levicki still rounding out your top 5 as Ralph Starpoli once again on his 19-year-old TZ250, or 18-year-old rather, TZ250, out there showing no signs of slow. Actually, no, he's on the Honda. 19-year-old Honda, 18-year-old TZ250, which is what Surtees is riding. Those guys are still pushing hard out there. White flag coming out in just a moment.
Looks like a Motard competitor rode a little wide, and I can't tell if he's going to try to get back on that bike. No.
He's going to push it over.
Oh, they're just getting it out of the way.
Take it out of the way. Yeah, it's the last race
Alrighty.
before lunch.
White flag out for a race leader.
White flag out for bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, as he starts the final lap. Then it's going to be 491, Brian Surtees, back there solidly in second. It looks like it's going to be Adrian Jasso out there. I think he threw the white flag too early. That should read lap 7. Oh, I wonder if they cut him a lap because of time. It's 10:59. I bet that's what
Oh,
they-
it must be,
I
because
bet
we
that's
have to
what
be
they-
off
I
at
bet
11.
That's what they did. They had to cut him a
Yeah.
lap because of time. Because we're supposed to be off the track at 11.
Yeah, so again, if you're following along at home and you're hearing us chatter, they did decide to probably drop a lap here because of time constraints. Again, with 600 racers today, that is a really, really uphill battle, and we have to keep everything like as tight as possible. We must be off the track
Oh no!
at 11.
She got it adjusted somehow. Now everything jumped up to 7 laps.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might have just
Never
been
mind.
your. Oh, never mind.
He's right. I don't know. Well, this race monitor for some reason
It might.
screwed up.
I was gonna say it might have just been it needed to refresh itself. Also, are you on the Wi-Fi? Because there's a bunch of people on it.
Yeah, I'm on the
Them internets.
Wi-Fi. The interweb.
Them interwebs. You'll never know.
Interwebers.
Oh, Lord. All right, checks are out.
Checkered flag waves for unofficial race winner bike number 80L, Ralph Starpoli, as he takes the checkered flag leading from the very get-go. Then looking back up towards the turn number 17. Here comes your second place
That
rider,
was perfect
491.
timing.
Brian Surtees coming home unofficially back there in second. And it's going to be bike number 112, Adrian Jasso, rounding out the top 3 here for your open 2-stroke riders. With the conclusion of this one, we are now officially at our lunch break. So once we get the track cleared, we are at our lunch break. We will have a non-denominational chapel service here in about 15 minutes down in the tech area. If you want to come on down for that, don't forget to bring your lawn chair with you and some seating. Great seating is still available down there for that. And then at about 12 noon, we'll get the call started, and we intend to go hot at 12:15. I think the schedule might have said 12:30, but we're going to be trying to push that a little bit and try and go hot as quickly as we can after lunch. So about noon, I'll start making the calls, and we'll go hot at around 12:10, 12:15, something like that, for our afternoon racing. Concession stands are open throughout the facility. If you guys want to make your way over to one of the concession stands, it's up here on the second floor, or the second tier of the paddock up here. The concession stands are open up there.
Alrighty, race fans. Well, as you just heard, we are going to be winding down this race number 6. 6 down and 10 more to go, Jay. 10 more whole races to go. So that's going to be about it for the morning program. We will be back, however, so don't panic. We're just going to be switching programs a little bit. We got to show a little love to the dirt racers.
Head over to Rusty's Barbecue, where our meats are slow cooked over hickory and hand pulled so that every bite is tender and flavorful. Rusty's Barbecue menu features a wide selection of everything from barbecue sandwiches and kids' meals to plates of their famous ribs, pulled pork, and chicken. Or you can order ahead at rustysbarbecue.com.
Alrighty, gang. So I'm going to go on ahead, and we will be shutting down this live feed. We will be back at about 12 or 12:15, so make sure you come on back. You are not going to want to miss it. We'll see you on the flip side, but stay tuned. There's more awesome dirt racing coming your way in just a moment.